Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a story about what if Naruto x Rumi Usagiyama in My Hero Academia. Before I start, please support for more amazing content and do consider subscribing to my channel and share this video with your friends. This is written by JACK277 and link in description and support writer. Let's start the video. Start. You think you're better than us? One kid growled. Tell him yes. No, I don't. Naruto, a blonde boy said. He was currently surrounded by 5 other kids. My dad yelled at me because I don't have a nice quirk like yours. The kid in the middle yelled, a stick in his hands. He beat my mom cause his job is very stressful, she in turn beats me and I wanna beat you up because of that. That kinda sounds like a you problem, Naruto said before he was hit with a stick on the head. The stick shattered upon impact. Fight back. Naruto ignored the voice at the back of his head. You're such a freak. One kid screamed. Says the guy with a quirk that made him look like a hammerhead shark. Naruto said only to quickly cover his mouth. Did one of you guys do that? I did. Nice. Naruto ignored the voices in favor of the crying kid in front of him. Look, I'm sorry B, but I have to go. Naruto gave a bow before he took to the sky. Leaving the ground beneath him cracked. I can't believe you ran away. Not only that but he bowed. Naruto ignored the voices as he landed on the roof of a nearby building. Flying with them arguing would just lead to him crashing again. The 10-year-old boy sat on the roof and stared at the city. Boy, why didn't you fight back? Cause it's not the heroic thing to do. Naruto said as the voice hummed in thought. That thought process won't get you that many friends here. I get that most of you were conquerors and did great things. Except for Homelander. But all I want is to save people. To see hope in their eyes whenever they see me. To give hope to the world. I approve. Actually I appro. Shut up Homelander. I don't care what you guys think, Naruto answered easily. I will become a hero. Why don't you come say that to our faces, boy? Naruto suddenly blacked out and found himself in a large white room. Boy, before Naruto stood 3 beings. All 3 are tall imposing figures. What the hell was that? The one that spoke was a tall male figure with dark hair, blue eyes and a beard. He was dressed in slightly bulky black armor with splashes of red in the forearm and shoulders. To finish off his look he wore black combat boots and the same colored cape. You showed weakness, the man was Zod. I didn't want to hurt them. Naruto said as he stared up at Zod. You need to strategize, plan your fights. If you had beaten those boys there and then, they would think twice about bothering you again. Do you understand, boy? Zod said in a booming voice that made Naruto flinch. I don't care what you say. I didn't want to hurt them. But you would let them hurt you? The other figure spoke. He was tall with blue hair styled in a mohawk and blue eyes. The man also had purple skin and pointy ears. This was Gladiator. It's better me than them. Naruto yelled as the purple-skinned man shook his head. Then you are a fool and are not worthy of this power, a voice spoke from the side. Making Naruto turn to its owner. It was a tall man with long black hair, about shoulder length, blue eyes and grayish pale skin. His upper body was exposed and littered with a few scars. The only clothing he wore were tight blue pants and red boots. Your body is mine for the taking. Naruto actually took a step back at how intensely hell was looking at him. I still stand on what I say. Naruto said as he glared up at the figures. I don't want to hurt people. The figures all looked at each other before turning to Naruto. Zod spoke up first. It is not our place to choose which path you must take, but to offer wisdom. The old general said. We are your ancestors, we have lived our own lives and wish only to teach. I want to take over his body. Except hell he wants to take over your body. So you guys will teach me to be a hero? Naruto asked as his ancestors looked at each other. Young Naruto, you must understand, Gladiator spoke up. Most of us were conquerors and generals. This new age of superheroes isn't one most of us are familiar with. You will have to learn on your own what type of hero you want to be. We will teach you how to fight, but that saving people business will be up to you, Zod muttered as Naruto nodded. So you guys will teach me how to use my powers and beat bad guys. In a sense, yes. Awesome. The boy cheered. Yes, and once your body is well trained and the time is right. I will take over your body. Oh my Rao, give it a rest man. I don't want anyone to be surprised when I take over, okay. Hell said with a shrug. Zod rolled his eyes before turning back to the blonde. Before your training begins, you must first know and understand what your quirk is. It is a power that has been there since the beginning of time. The first of us was a man with the power of 1,000 exploding suns. When he died, his power, experience and wisdom was passed on to another. And so it began with Zod. With each of us connected by our bloodline. This power not only passes on the abilities of the one before but can also evoke the ones that came before. Like you have done. Most of us were not able to. Zod. But for you to actually do this at such a young age shows promise. Zod. What? I think you broke him, an amused gladiator said as he pointed at the wide-eyed Naruto. Zod looked down to see the boy staring at him. He waved his hand over the kid's face and got no response. I'll probably explain when he's older. Good call. Zod then cleared his throat. Fine, but we'll start with his physical training, regardless of his brain frying. Zod said before he looked to the side. Thrag, you're up. From the shadows stepped forth a man. Tall muscular man with short black and dark eyes. He had a very manly and cool mustache. He was dressed in a white tight oofed and was wearing what appeared to be the hide of the beast as a cape. Damn, this guy was a badass. Bragg cracked his neck and knuckles as he approached. I have one word for you boy, dodge. Before Naruto could finish his sentence he was bitch slapped so hard his head came off. Naruto awoke with a gasp, his hands instantly going for his head. Upon seeing that his head was still there the boy let out a sigh of relief. Cracking his neck the boy looked around, he was in his room. Up until now the voices were just voices. This was the first time he had actually seen them. Plus wasn't he on the roof? That was me, I took possession of your body and brought it back here, a voice spoke, this time it was a woman. That was a first. Who are you? Naruto said as he looked down, his entire body trembling. He did just die so. My name is Alexandria and I'm one of your ancestors. And nice to meet you Alexandria. Clench your teeth, it will help with the shock. Naruto did as he was told. Now listen, I too was a hero in my time and it is not as glamorous as it seems. Most of the time you have to make split-second decisions and the wrong one usually ends in countless lives lost. Even the villains, some were far stronger than they should be. What do I do now? You learn from your ancestors and become stronger. Most of them were rulers with tactical minds unmatched and fighting skills that allowed them to conquer. Use these skills and learn them as your own. I am going to learn from and become the best hero ever. Naruto yelled, a fire behind his eyes as he raised a fist. Believe that. Good, now get some sleep. You'll need it. Naruto nodded as a yawn escaped his mouth. Good night Alexandria. He said before laying down. Good night. A few days later. Hey freak. Naruto didn't bother looking back. He was too tired to deal with a bunch of brats, as the others called them. He was talking to you brat, a large teen stepped in front of Naruto, blocking the blonde's way. Yeah that's him, he's the freak that. Assert your dominance. Naruto took a deep breath, lifted his leg and stomped the ground. The result was the ground beneath cracking and the earth shaking. The older teen fell on his butt, a look of fear on his face. The young boy before him gave him a look of disgust before walking away. Line break. Our bodies are made in such a way that we can push off anything, giving us the ability to fly. Also it's a fuck you to physics. Naruto calmly floated off the ground. Truth be told he never really thought about his powers, he was just able to do them. He was currently at the playground of his local school. He was currently shadow boxing. So it's better if you punch with your shoulders, hips and legs. Naruto nodded to himself as he began putting more into his punches. At first it felt awkward and rough. But he was getting there. Look at him out there working so hard, one teacher whispered to another. Life isn't fair. Yeah, I mean how does someone so average like that woman give birth to someone so powerful? I know right. One teacher groaned out. He's not just some brute with a powerful quirk either, he's smart too. And cute. Naruto tried his best to ignore the nosy teachers in favor of punching the air. He needed to learn for him to become the strongest. A few hours of punching the air, Naruto didn't even notice school was over. He stopped, however, when he smelled a familiar scent. Hey sweetie, Naruto turned to the sound of his mother's voice. It's time to go home. Hey ma. Naruto gently flew over to his mother and hugged her. My little super boy, the woman smiled as she ruffled his hair. I have to go have a talk with your principal, so please wait for me right here, okay? Naruto nodded as he watched his mother leave. Is it just me or was something off? Shut up Homelander. I think something is off with the mother. I agree with Zod on this. Hey I said the. Shut up. Naruto ignored the voices and focused on the building his mother just entered. His secondary powers activated. His senses were heightened to the point he could see the tiny fly on his mother's shoulder and he could also hear the sound of wings slowly flapping. But what worried him was the sound of how fast her heart was beating. She's afraid. Naruto heard Alexandra say. The blonde clenched his fist as watched his mother enter the principal's office. Ms. Uzumaki please sit down, the principal, an ugly-ass fat man who looked like a cross between a walrus and a warthog. The young mother sat down nervously. Did you go over what we discussed? Yes, she answered nervously. And? I can't, the woman looked down as she said. It's not who I am. The principal took in a deep breath and sighed in annoyance. Listen bitch. Your freak son has a powerful quirk, one that requires him to go to an expensive school. With you only able to pay for cheap schools, you'll waste his potential." The man growled out. "I have some friends in high places who are willing to help out, but at a cost." Naruto's mother slowly wiped the tears that had begun to fall out of her eyes. She stood up and began to undress as the ugly bastard of a principal smiled. "Yes, just like that, you dirty war." Naruto didn't know when it happened, but all he remembered was bursting into the room like the fucking Kool-Aid man, grabbing the ugly bastard and flying off into fucking space. 6 years later. "I'm off to school, ma." Naruto called as he opened the front door. "Stay safe, sweetie." "Will do," Naruto muttered as he closed the door behind him. "Hey you," waiting for Naruto was his best friend girlfriend, Momo Yaoi Rozu. Momo is a tall teenage girl with a mature physique. She has long black hair that's tied into a spiky ponytail, with a large strand hanging on the right side of her face. Her azure eyes are thin and sharp, dark in color and paired with short eyebrows set in a determined expression. She was dressed in a light green dress that fell to her knees and some heels. "Ready for our date?" "I was born ready," Naruto grinned as his girlfriend blushed. Naruto, now 16, was slightly tall for his age. His body was now lean and muscular. Built mainly for speed. He was now dressed in a black leather jacket over a white shirt that had a shield with an S inside it spray painted on it. Some blue jeans and white sneakers. "Come on then," Momo gestured to the car parked just outside the gate. "We might miss the movie." "Oh fuck," Momo groaned as her boyfriend kissed her. They were currently at the backseat of the car with her on top of him. Naruto the dress don't. The blonde ripped the top part easily, exposing her giant breasts. It was a thing with him, Momo had observed. He could be so loving at times and other times he'd be a bit forceful. One moment he's staring at her with all the love in the world, the next those blue eyes have so much lust behind them. Which of course she was fine with. It was just a bit strange. "Oh fuck, that's it baby." Naruto didn't know where she came from, she just popped up one day. For some reason she had the ability to come out into the real world. Well, most people couldn't see or hear her. Not only that, she had this unique ability only she could do. She'd overlay her image over people. Like right now Naruto knew for a fact it was Momo who was on top of him. But here she was, Momo's image, voice, scent and feel replaced with Superwoman. "I've taught you well, my sweet." She smirked down at him, that damn sexy smirk of hers. Superwoman was a tall woman with tan skin. Superwoman's attire is a black one-piece leotard with a yellow trim. She wears her hair in a ponytail, wears long black fingerless gloves, red round earrings, and a black choker, from where her breasts are seen with the symbol S bracelet dangling below it. "Now put what I taught you to good use." Naruto grabbed her outfit and tore the top part off, exposing her gorgeous big breast. To him. "Mary, you're so beautiful," he groaned as he grabbed handfuls of her big ass. "Oh, you're just so cute," she laughed before grabbing the sides of his head, leaning down and kissing him. The kiss soon turned into a battle of tongues. Mary then began grinding herself against him. "Why don't I loop you up and then you can fuck me in the ass?" Mary said as she pulled back. "Let me just pull out your cock and sue." Boom. The car shook, but Naruto and Mary didn't even flinch. Naruto narrowed his eyes, activated his X-ray vision, and looked through the tinted window. The outside world was in chaos. People were running around while a pro-hero and a villain fought, by the looks of it the villain was winning. Naruto turned back to Mary to see a knowing smirk. "Oh, what you gonna do now, big boy?" Naruto took a deep breath before sighing. "The right thing," he said as Mary rolled her eyes. "Now go away." "Hardy popper," she winked at him, and the cool smirking visage of Mary was replaced by a disheveled panting red-faced Momo. Her beautiful expensive dress was torn to shreds. "What's going on out there?" Momo asked as she held on to him. "Pro-hero is fighting a villain, and she's losing. I need to go help out with the civilians to make things easy on her." Naruto said as he took off his jacket and wrapped it around his girlfriend's naked form. "Wait here." Momo nodded as she slowly got off him. Making sure to keep his jacket wrapped around her safely. In a second he vanished. Urko did a double backflip before landing a few feet away from her opponent. Truth be told, she was enjoying the fight, but the bastard was a sore loser and decided to involve civilians. "Just give up already, you creep," she yelled as she pointed her gloved finger at him. As a fully grown woman, Rumi Usagiyama stood at 5 feet and 2 inches tall. Her red eyes were tilted slightly inwards and her long white hair flowed freely down her back to her waistline. She has an athletic body with muscular arms and legs and a shapely figure. Her wide eyelashes were particularly long and her skin was tanned. Her quirk was a mutant type, it affected her physical appearance by bestowing her with a pair of long white rabbit-like ears, pointing upwards with a slight crook and a short white fluffy tail, similar to a rabbit's. Her white hair, ears and tail coupled with her red eyes gave her a resemblance to an albino rabbit. Her hero costume consisted of a slim-fitting sleeveless white leotard with dark purple trimmings around the shoulders and waist, a pair of thick metal plates on her midriff, and a yellow crescent moon-like symbol over her chest. Additionally, Mirko wears dark purple thigh-high boots with metal plating around the heel and toe areas that make her feet look like those of a rabbit and that reinforce her kicks. Lastly, she adorns a pair of thick white gloves on her hands with long cuffs which sported small triangular protrusions around their edges. "Come on baby, why don't you come over here and suck my," the villain yelled with a large grin on his face. The villain's name was Muscular. A large, bulky and extremely muscular man with short spiky blonde hair and small black eyes. His left eye is a prosthetic and he has a small scar on the right side of his forehead. He wore a red tank top that was slightly torn, a dark jacket that hangs around his waist, dark green pants, and black knee-high boots. "You're not my type," Mirko glared. "Too bad, but it's for the best really." Muscular shrugged. "Someone like you isn't my type either." "Someone like me? Someone so weak and pathetic," Muscular said with a smirk. "Now go on and call the heroes, maybe they can bring in Almighty Endeavor. People who are worth my time." "Oh, you're dead." Mirko growled as before leaping off the ground and into the air at great speed. Ready to drop kick the asshole just called her weak. Her. As her armored feet neared his head. The villain smirked before he easily caught her by the legs. "Well shit." He then slammed her on the ground. The back of Mirko's head hit the ground so hard she almost blacked out. "I'm definitely gonna feel that in the morning." "Geez, you're so weak." Muscular said with a laugh. His quirk went into overdrive as muscles began forming on the outside of his body until he was huge. He then proceeded to punch Mirko right in the stomach, making her scream and puke out saliva. "Now hold still while I rape you in front of the whole world." Muscular grinned savagely as he went to take off his pants. Only to be sucker punched so hard he was sent flying. "You okay ma'am?" a voice said as Mirko slowly got up. Well, the hits she took were painful, it would take a lot more to keep her down. She turned to the owner and saw a tall blonde teen looking at her with concern. "Who the hell are you?" she asked as she blinked. Was he a new hero? "I'm Superman," he said with a smile that seemed a little smug. Was that name some sort of joke or something? "Thanks for the hand Superman," she said as she cracked her neck. "But I think I can handle this on my own." "I think we should team up for this one," Superman said as he looked at her. "It'll make things much easier and faster." "No thanks chief, teaming up is for wimps." Mirko said before her sensitive and powerful nose picked up something. She sniffed the air and looked down at Superman's jeans. "His clothes smelt like ladies' perfume. Then stand back while I finish this," Superman said before winking at her and disappearing in a burst of speed. X. "I like how you waited for the right moment to be the hero." "Iwasi was rescuing the civilians and clearing the nearby park. It took me a while." Naruto answered back as he flew. "You did that in 5 seconds. The best part was when he waited while the hero got her ass kicked. Swooping down and saving the day. I was waiting for an opening, who knows what would have happened if I just blitzed in." Naruto said as he reached the empty pack, except for the giant crater Muscular was in. The large villain was slowly getting up as he looked around in confusion. "So what's the plan now boy?" "Utter dominance, make sure he goes down in the next 5 minutes." Naruto replied. "Make sure to give a good show for the public." At back in the corner Homelander. "You're still on the hook for that shit you pulled. Plus nobody likes him." "Yeah, we hate you Horlander." "Horlander? That's a good one. Thanks, it just came to me." Naruto turned them out in favor of Muscular. "Naruto dear, be sure to put on a show." "Will do Alexandria." Naruto nodded before he flew at the villain with great speed. Wait, wasn't that my idea?" "Oh my god Homelander, did you just talk? Who told you could talk?" "Guys, come on. Shut the fuck up you puppy killing son of a whore." "Hey." Naruto called as Muscular looked up at him and the villain looked surprised before Naruto Superman punched him. Sending the muscular villain stumbling back. "Who the fuck are you?" Muscular growled out as his wiped blood from his mouth. "My name is Superman," the blonde said as he floated, arms folded on his chest and his eyes glowing red. "Stand down or else." "You're a cocky one aren't you?" Muscular grinned. "I take that as a no then," Naruto said with a frown. "Hum at me bro arc." Twin beams of red energy slammed into Muscular. Sending him into the ground once more. "Roar." The blonde villain roared as he burst out of the ground. "You're dead punk." He ran at the hero muscles upon muscles bursting out of his skin and covering his form. He swung his giant fist, but the blonde easily flew away. Making the giant villain stumble. Muscular looked back only to be punched into the ground. Muscular rubbed his head as he slowly got to his feet. Dazed as his vision was blurry. "Hey asshole. Hope you didn't forget about me." Mirko called out as she glared at him with hatred. As he stumbled her way, Muscular was treated to a high kick with a metal heel. Mirko had used all her strength in that kick. and if it wasn't for his quirk his head would have been sent flying. But the kick still had the effect of sending him flying. While mid-air, Muscular's body turned and he came face to face with a smiling Naruto who was flying at him. The hero then gave him a powerful uppercut that sent him flying into a nearby building. Muscular should have died twice over, but his quirk saved him. It did not however save him from the untold pain he was feeling now. Embedded in the side of a building. Naruto shot up into the air past the building before he flew down. Just as gravity brought Muscular down, Naruto punched the falling villain into the ground. Muscular slammed into the ground, forming a crater. He tried to get up only to see Superman glaring at him with red glowing eyes. At this moment Godo knew was fucked. Naruto fired red-hot lasers that began to eat out at the muscle over the villain's body, making him scream. Godo Muscular screamed in agony, but Superman didn't seem to care. The smirk on his face made it look like he was the villain. Hey, that's enough. Mirko called out. He's had enough. Naruto's glare instantly went to her, making the sexy hero take a step back. Taking a breath, Naruto slowly floated away from the burnt and beaten hero. The blonde slowly floated over to Mirko, the bunny-eared hero gulping at the look he was giving her. Rumi Usagiyama felt something in her body react to Theman that was floating above her. It was like an animalistic drive tofu fight. Definitely fight. You alright? He asked, the hard gaze he had from before replaced with a look of concern. Just a few scratches is all. She said as he nodded. Both turned to the sound of something flying towards them. Never fear. All Might had arrived. I am here. Mirko turned to look at Superman and it almost looked like he had stars in his eyes. The number one hero landed next to them, the ground beneath cracking. Mirko, are you alright? All Might asked as he looked her over. I'm fine thanks to him, Mirko muttered as she jabbed a thumb in Superman's direction, feeling slightly bitter about being helped. Young man, All Might said as he slowly approached his fellow blonde. Thank you for helping Mirko. It was my pleasure, Superman nodded. Around them some heroes and police were already arriving on the scene. I better go help bring in that villain, All Might nodded before walking off. Excuse me, Naruto turned to an officer who was approaching and looking at him sternly. Can I help you, officer? You're under arrest for using your quirk without a permit and the destruction of public property. Naruto blinked and a heavy pair of cuffs were put on him. He tried his best to ignore the laughter coming from the assholes in his head. X. Name Naruto Uzumaki, age 16, quirk something called super. Apparently he has super everything. Super strength, super speed, the list goes on. Woof. You have my thanks for not making a scene, Mr. Uzumaki, Chief of Police Kenji Tsuragami said as he patted the blonde on the shoulder. No problem, it was my fault after all. Naruto said as he gave a small bow. In a way what you did was wrong, but at the same time it was right. It's a slippery slope really, if your interference had endangered innocents you would have been thrown in jail. Thankfully no one was hurt, it seems you had luck on your side. Kiji said as Naruto nodded. Please refrain from jumping into hero action until you have a license, otherwise you won't be so lucky. The dog-faced man stared at Naruto for a few seconds before he nodded and walked away. Naruto just silently turned and began walking out of the station. Luck has nothing to do with it, bitch. What? I get it cause he's a dog. You think he has a dog like he fucks his whiff? Orlander, you sick fuck. Why would you? Naruto quickly cut the connection, though he could vaguely hear the others shit on Homelander. But to be fair, the guy kinda deserves it. Pulling out his phone, Naruto dialed Momo's number. Naruto, are you alright? I'm fine, Momo, they just held me for a couple hours to teach me a lesson. Naruto said with a laugh. I think they were trying to intimidate. I'm just glad you're okay. Tell me where you are right now so I can send a car to pick you up. His girlfriend quickly offered. Nah, it's pretty late, I'm going to buy some chocolate for mom then heading home. Naruto said. If you say so. So are you nervous about Monday? Nah, I'm confident in my quirk, Naruto said with a smirk. The blonde had been walking while talking and had reached a convenience store. I've been training my butt off and I'm ready. Naruto stepped into the store and was then followed by a woman and her son. Aren't you being overconfident? Of course I'm overconfident, there is nothing UA can throw at me that I can't beat. The written tests will be child's play and the physical one will be laughable for someone with a quirk like mine. Naruto said with a smirk, only for a can of soda to hit him at the back of the head. Huh? Damn it, brat, next time you get excited don't blow up the damn groceries. Mitsuki Bakugo growled out as they entered the convenience store. Whatever you hag, I'm going to UA, her son Katsuki, Bakugo mumbled. It right, there was his own version of an apology. She wouldn't give him too much shit for it though, he was really excited for UAI. Thus don't use that quirk of yours to blow up my kitchen is all I'm saying. She muttered as she grabbed a plastic basket. I want some juice, he muttered as he grabbed himself a can. Of course I'm overconfident, there is nothing UA can throw at me that I can't beat. The mother-son paused at the young man in front of them. He had his back to them and was currently on the phone. The written tests will be child's play, and the physical one will be laughable for someone with a quirk like mine. Before Mitsuki could blink, Bakugo had thrown his can at the blonde boy. The can impacted the back of the boy's head, and the MILF could have sworn it made the sound of a can hitting metal. Huh? The blonde teen slowly turned to them, a look of confusion on his admittedly handsome face. You dropped this, he said as he bent down and picked the can of soda. You think you're hot stuff, huh? Kitsuki growled with a clenched fist. I don't think I know. He said casually, making her snicker behind her son's back. Who are you exactly? The name's Bakugo, the next #1 hero. He said as he pointed at himself. And what does that have to do with you hitting me with this? The blonde asked. Babe, let me call you back, some kid is running his mouth off. Yeah, I didn't do anything, he just threw a soda at me for some reason. No, I won't fight him, that's beneath me. Okay, bye, talk to you later. Wait before you go send nudes. With that he cut the line and put his phone back in his pocket. Look kid, just go back to your hot sister over there and we'll pretend this didn't happen. He held out the soda for Bakugo to get. Mitsuki watched all this in silence. Though she did smirk at the comment of her being hot. Listen shitface, I'm gonna come first in the UAI exams and I'll beat you and every side character that shows up. Bakugo yelled. Though his rant was met with a smirk of amusement. Really, you're going to be the #1 hero? Cool. The taller blonde said with his smirk still in place. Are you making fun of me? What do you think, Mr. #1 hero? Why you? Bakugo's hand sparked as he prepared to launch an explosion at the taller boy. Hey brat, don't. Mitsuki was about to stop her son when she froze. Kitsuki was a good distance away from the other teen, but in a microsecond he was in front of him with his index finger pointed at her son's head. The #1 hero just attacked an innocent bystander, he said in a blank tone. The #1 hero so easily manipulated, so easily baited into a trap, and with just a few words. You don't even know what my quirk is, maybe I shoot bullets from my fingers and I have you right where I want you. Hey, let's all just calm down now, Mitsuki quickly came in between the two of them. You guys are going to be classmates, the least you could do is get along. Your beautiful sister is right, the taller blonde said as he backed up. Whatever. A shaken Bakugo said before he walked off. Hey wait, come back Brad, I need help with groceries. Mitsuki called to her son only to get a scoff back as a reply. And has gone. She sighed. Looks like I messed things up for you, the teen before here said with a frown. I'm sorry big sis, let me make it up to you. He gave a bow as Mitsuki shook her head. It's all his fault, she said. Though honestly part of her was happy this happened. That kid had too many people complimenting him because of his quirk that it gave him a big head. No one but her ever called him out on his shit, they all just agreed with him. Then let me help with carrying the groceries, the teen offered. Now that she thought about it, Bakugo didn't have any friends. Just a bunch of follows. What he needed was someone to call him out on his shit. Someone who was within his age group. Because frankly everyone around that kid sucked his way too hard. Furtively speaking, of course. He needed someone to bitch slap him upside the head every once in a while. If you insist, the MILF smirked. Mitsuki had a plan and she would see it through to the end. What's your name by the way? Naruto Uzumaki, the boy answered as she handed him the shopping basket. And you are? Mitsuki Bakugo, the mother of the brat you almost had a fight with. She said as he looked at her with wide eyes. Holy shit, really? You look so young. Naruto said as she laughed. I was sure you were his sister. Oh you, now let's go pick out some groceries. And with that the two blondes picked out some groceries. And great sentence professional writer everybody. Thanks a lot Naruto, Mitsuki said as Naruto helped her load the groceries in her car. It's the least I can do. The least you could do is come over for lunch and make it up to me. Mitsuki said as she grinned. Naruto was obviously attracted to her and she would use this to her advantage. Whether he liked it or not, Naruto would become Kitsuki's best friend. You embarrassed me greatly with that little scene you made. I'm friends with the manager and I know for a fact she's gonna gossip about it with the neighborhood wives. I guess, Naruto said with a sigh. Just give me your number and address. Yes. Mitsuki tried not to smile as she gave him her number and address. Hook, line and sinker. Hey Naruto, do you need a ride home? It's pretty late out, Mitsuki offered, but her fellow blonde shook his head. Nah, I'm good, the blonde grinned. What's your quirk anyways? Mitsuki asked with a raised eyebrow. Wouldn't you like to know? Naruto smirked as he began floating off the ground. See you soon, with a wave the blonde teen flew off. Leaving the MILF staring up at the sky with wide eyes. Shaking her head Mitsuki quickly got into her car, tomorrow was going to be interesting. That was well done beloved, Naruto heard Mary say. We have her where we want her now. Remind me why I'm manipulating someone? Naruto asked as he flew through the night sky. Oh please darling, she was doing it first. Plus she's a MILF, you can't go wrong with MILFs. Mary smirked. You do realize MILFs are the definition of used goods, right? Homelander added, much to the annoyance of the superwoman. Shut your mouth before I come over there, break my foot up your ass, again. Mary growled out. Where was I? Oh yeah, the MILF is playing her own game here and I want you to be ready. It's obvious she wants you to befriend her son, the reason why I'm not sure yet. Alexandria added. She's playing a game and it would be better for you if you also moved pieces around rather than you being a piece. I guess that makes sense, Naruto muttered. Spotting the familiar roof of his house, the blonde slowed down and landed. And I really wanted to spend tomorrow with Momo since I ruined our date. The blonde opened the door and stepped into the house. Yeah you did, poor girl wanted to have a good time with her boyfriend, but no, you wanted to go save someone who had the situation under control. Mary said, making Naruto wince. You think she's mad? She's furious. Oh, I'll make it up to her. Naruto said. Welcome home honey, his mother who was in the living room waved at him. Are you hungry? Nah, I'll just have potato chips, Naruto said as he headed to the kitchen, put the chocolate bar on the countertop and grabbed himself a bag. One thing to note was that Naruto's feet didn't touch the floor. The blonde tended to float rather than walk. Naruto then floated up to his room and proceeded to flop onto his bed. With his hands behind his head, the blonde closed his eyes and was instantly transported to his mind space. Upon arriving, Naruto was greeted by the sight of a desert canyon. Naruto was instantly on edge. In his place, Naruto's clothes changed to an orange shirt with the S logo on it, black sweatpants and running shoes. Naruto's form quickly moved to the side, avoiding a giant rock that was covered in red energy. Hell, Naruto muttered before his eyes widened before more rocks appeared in his field of vision. The things were being thrown at fast speeds, and Naruto quickly dodged. Zigzagged through them as he searched for hell. The attacks intensified, and Naruto had to use his heat vision to blow up some of the close calls. Looking up, Naruto spotted the figure of Hell waving a finger at him. PCH, Naruto grunted in annoyance. Hell was using a finger to control the rocks. That means he was holding back a lot. The blonde quickly flew at the long-haired man. Your body is mine boy. Hell roared, he held out his hand and fired a blast of red energy at the blonde. Gross, was all Naruto said as he did a barrel roll maneuver, avoiding the attack and delivering a punch to the face of Hell. The blow sent the man flying. Naruto quickly followed up with tackling Hell into the ground. Fuck. Hell grunted as his back hit the ground and cratered it. He quickly brought up his hand and sent a telekinetic blast that sent Naruto off him. Naruto felt the red energy cover his entire body before he screamed in pain. It was like his body was being squeezed. Like it felt like his brain was going to pop out of his head. Why you're a fake, that's all you are. Naruto grunted out. You want my body cause you know deep down you will never be the real thing. You little shit. Hell roared before throwing the boy into the side of the canyon. Feeling the energy leave, Naruto quickly burst out of the crater he was in and fired his heat vision right in Hell's face. Ah my eyes. Hell cried out as he covered his eyes with hands, this left his torso open. Naruto quickly struck with a double-footed kick right into Hell's stomach. The force of the attack sent the Hell flying. With Naruto following. The blonde quickly bypassed Hell before stopping, he could see the back of Hell coming at him as he cocked his fist back. Naruto flew at the Hell with such speed that he broke the sound barrier. His fist connected with the back of Hell's head. The force of the punch sent out a large shockwave and knocked out Hell. The long-haired man falls to the ground unconscious. Gee, that was close, Naruto muttered as he took in a breath. In a one-on-one fight, Hell would beat him easily. But he had a glaring flaw, he hated Naruto and also Hell thought he was a clone. The guy was batshit insane. He also had a short temper, every time you called a fake he went into a blinding rage. Nice win. Naruto turned to see Alexandria floating towards him. Thanks, he said as eyed her closely. Hell, he could beat by exploiting weaknesses. But how do you fight someone without weaknesses? It's my turn now, she said calmly. Alexandria is a tall, slightly muscular woman with long straight black hair. She is missing an eye but has an advanced prosthetic that is visually indistinguishable from her other one. Alexandria is visibly Hispanic, at least out of costume. For her costume, she wore a skin-tight suit that was black and gray, with an image of a tower in the center of her chest. She had elbow-length gloves and knee-high boots. To finish off she had a black heavy cape. Prepare yourself, she said as the environment changed from an empty desert canyon to a bustling metropolis. A large city filled with people walking around and minding their business. Naruto went into a stance as he saw Alexandria stare at him. Her beautiful face was a mask of emotionlessness before it was replaced with a metal helmet closed around her head. The helmet itself was similar in design to that of an ancient Spartan helmet design. Her hair spilled out at the back of helmet and all Naruto could see were green eyes glaring at him. Within a blink of an eye she was before him, delivering a powerful shockwave-inducing punch to his chest that sent him flying through a couple of buildings. The blonde teen flew out of the building and landed back first on the streets. He quickly stood up but had to hold his chest in pain. He could feel his ribs had carved in and pierced his left lung. Spitting out a glob of blood, Naruto quickly flew out of the mini-crater just as Alexandria appeared in his sight. He could already feel the wound healing as his ribs went back into place and holes in his lungs closed up. Alexandria flew at him and he flew back. Both superpowered beings met with punches to each other's faces. Naruto's fist had made contact with the side of her helmet while her left fist had punched in the side of the head. Naruto was sent flying by the blow while Alexandria's helmet was dented. The helmet then fixed itself up and she calmly floated to the ground. Naruto groaned as he got up from his second crater, his jaw was dislocated and he promptly put it back in place with a loud crack. As he looked, the blonde was greeted with the sight of a red minivan with a wife, husband and daughter all screaming in terror. Alexandria threw a car filled with people right into his face. Naruto quickly spread out his hands. The front of the car hit him point blank in the face, but his hands managed to grip it in the side. He stood his ground and made sure the car wouldn't send back. Successfully stopping the car, the blonde put the car down and watched as the family quickly got out. At Tasaf another car was thrown at him, this one was too fast to catch and it smashed into him, lighting him up in a blazing glory. Alexandria landed next to the burning pile, eyes looking around before she was suddenly grabbed by the cape and thrown into a nearby building. The invincible woman's body bursts through the building and hits the next one. Disoriented, Alexandria is grabbed once more by the cape. This time Naruto wraps it tightly around her head. Alexandria tries to grab him, but Naruto floats back. The blonde slowed his breathing and stood perfectly still. Alexandria tried to swipe at the empty space as Naruto slowly floated around her, the blonde calmly waiting for an opening. Alexandria quickly goes to rip off the makeshift blindfold and Naruto strikes. With her arms slightly upwards, Naruto goes in for a full Nelson. Naruto had gone in from behind, thrust his arms under Alexandria's arms and clasped them into a tight, virtually unbreakable grip. In response to this, Alexandria thrusts her ass into his crotch. Naruto did his best to ignore the way her butt grinded against him. With a mighty roar, Naruto flew straight through the roof of the building and into the sky. With a death grip on Alexandria, Naruto flows even higher and faster. The sound barrier was broken with a resounding boom, but focused on his single goal. Alexandria was literally invincible and indestructible. And top it off, she was calm and level-headed. Words would work on her. While Alexandria was invincible, she still needed to breathe. As they approached the outer atmosphere, Alexandria seemed to figure out his plan and her struggles turned up to 11. But Naruto's grip didn't budge. Alexandria tried to fly downward, but Naruto's momentum was just too much for her. The two broke through the exosphere and into the vast emptiness that was space. Naruto could hold his breath for a long time, like 2 days if he pushed it. Alexandria on the other hand couldn't, and in a matter of seconds her struggling slowed and in 2 minutes she was out cold. Naruto let her go, watching as her body floated freely before he grabbed her and held her close. The world changed, and from the dark cold emptiness of space to a Greek Colosseum, complete with a crowd of cheering people. My sweet beloved, Naruto looked up and there she was. Mary Marvel, or the Superwoman to his Superman. The beautiful woman was dressed in a very loose white toga that ended just above her knees. My honor has been challenged and you must defend it. The cheers seemed to intensify as the gate at the other side of the area opened up and Zod came out. The old general was dressed in his gray-black armor with 2 swords in hand. Your challenger, Zod. Mary yells with a smirk. Naruto had to roll his eyes at her. She was having way too much fun with this. Your fight has no rules and flying has been disabled. Winner takes me as their prize. Naruto stared at Zod, who had a serious look on his face. Your woman is mine, boy. He said with a frown. Beat me with your sword and I will lend you my power for as long as you breathe. Here was the thing, Naruto had a trump card. He had a secondary power that allowed him to call forth the power of his ancestors for a few minutes only. Now there was a catch, he needed to beat them to be able to use their powers, and so far he only beat Alexandria and Hell. He beat Alexandria first and used her total invincibility against Hell. Most he didn't bother with, like Homelander. What the fuck was that guy going to give him? That new guy Icarus was cool, but Naruto was sure he could take him in a fight. Zod threw a sword at Naruto that the blonde caught. Staring at it, he frowned at the slight green hue around the blade. What is this? He asked as the general smirked. Something that can cut you? Zod leaped off the ground, his jump cratering it. Naruto did the same and the two met in midair. Swords clashing against each. A power struggle was on with both of them trying to beat the other. Swords almost dug into each other as steel struggled against steel. Naruto tried his best, but ultimately Zod was stronger. What seemed to piss off Naruto was that he was using both his hands while Zod was holding him off with one. As Naruto was pushed back, he fired off his heat vision, hitting the older man in the chest and sending back. The blonde landed on the ground and instantly moved just as Zod fired off his own lasers. These were more powerful than the blonde's as they turned the sand of the arena into glass upon contact. Fuck. Naruto cursed as he jumped. He had to keep moving, otherwise one hit from those and he was done. He had to make himself a hard target while he thought of a strategy. Run little mouse. Zod laughed as he fired off his heat vision. You woman is mine. DCH, I have no choice, I have to use it. Naruto said as he began running. The blonde jumped into the air and yelled. Power of the ancestors. Zod quickly stopped playing around and fired at Naruto, but the blonde fired off a blast of his own. Naruto's blast seemed to overpower Zod's before it hit him point blank and sent him smashing into the arena wall. Groaning, the general tried to get up, but Naruto was already on him. The blonde's fist was covered in a large red construct. Naruto then smashed his fist into the general's face. He heard a satisfying crunch, but the blonde didn't care. He straddled Zod, grabbed both sides of the man's head and fired off his heat vision straight into the general's eyes, blinding him. Zod screamed, but Naruto just smirked. This was his chance to beat Zod. The blonde planned to lobotomize the man, he would have been successful too if he wasn't suddenly grabbed by the hair. While the blonde caught a hint of purple before he was roughly grabbed, his opponent then proceeded to grind the side of Naruto's face into the wall. Oh, it seems the gladiator has joined the battle. Mary yelled. Gladiator proceeds to run at supersonic speed, making sure to grind Naruto's face into the walls of the arena. The man did about 2 laps before Naruto broke out of his grip. The blonde grabbed the gladiator by the arm and threw him into the wall. The blonde quickly created some distance by jumping back. The side of Naruto's face was bruised badly and he could barely see in his eye. L powers gave him a boost, making him 10 times stronger than normal, gave him telekinesis, and gave him a red aura-like energy that he could forge into anything. But this power wouldn't last. At least not against Zod and Gladiator. Naruto quickly created slick red armor that covered his entire body except his head. As Gladiator ran at him, Naruto conjured wrist blades and proceeded to run at the purple man Mohawk man. Gladiator threw a punch that connected with Naruto's face, but the blonde followed up with a gut punch, stabbing into the man. Gladiator grunted and tried to pull back, but Naruto dug his blade deep, using his strength the blonde shoved his entire fist into the wound. Gladiator roared in pain, one hand gripping Naruto's forearm and trying to crush it, and the other went to the damaged side of Naruto's face and pressed his thumb into the boy's eye. Naruto screamed in pain as his eye was turned to a bloody mess. The blade on his free hand quickly turned into a giant chainsaw, and the blonde quickly cut off Gladiator's hand, splashing blood everywhere. Then the hand inside Gladiator turned into a chainsaw as well, and the blonde cut his way upwards. Gladiator screamed in pain as he was cut open vertically. With a final scream, the man fell to the ground dead. Though his hand remained jammed in Naruto's eye socket by the finger. Fuck. Naruto yelled as one of his chainsaw hands turned back to normal and he pulled out the hand in his eye. The blonde quickly moved to the side, avoiding the blonde Zod and his blade. Boy. The general roared as he swung at Naruto. I can hear your heart beating, your lungs breathing and your blood pumping through your veins. You can't escape me. Naruto grunted as he blocked the sword with his armored forearm. Despite being blind, Zod still had all his strength and speed, while Naruto was losing steam. He couldn't even conjure up a chainsaw. Thinking fast, the blonde stepped back and performed a thunderclap. The blonde had slammed his hands together as hard as he could, loud shockwave that not only sent Zod back, but also deafened him in a very painful way. Ah. The general screamed in pain as he covered his ears. Naruto quickly pounced on him, he knew once the man's ear dreams would heal soon. The blonde punched Zod in the face, breaking his nose again before he grabbed him by the hair and brought Zod's face down on his armored knee, hard. Naruto then grabbed the top part of Zod's head with one hand and the general's chin with the other. Naruto dug his finger so deep that he formed finger-sized holes in the man's head before Naruto twisted his head. One hand going left and the other going right. Zod's neck broke with a loud crack as Naruto let the corpse fall to the ground. Huffing, the blonde turned and looked around. Just in case he had another surprise. Ladies and gentlemen. Your champion. Mary yelled as the crowd went wild. Naruto turned to look up at her and she was giving him a smile, not a teasing smirk, but a genuine smile. The blonde couldn't help but raise his fist in the air and roar triumphantly. He had done it, he had beaten both Zod and Gladiator. He felt the last of hell power leave him as the world shifted to a city metropolis. Alright, guess it's my turn now. Naruto stared at the floating homelander blankly. What do you say, kid, want me to show you how a real man does it? The blonde man asked with a cocky smirk. Naruto's response was to blow a raspberry and faint. "Ah, I guess I win," Homelander laughed as he cheered. "I am the last man standing. Alright Mary, why don't you come over here and suck my D?" "Oh fuck off," Superwoman grunted as she appeared behind Homelander and punched him in the cheek so hard he was sent flying back. She then floated down to where Naruto lay. "You did good today, you're improving every day." Naruto felt two warm bodies pressed against him as his eyes opened. Blinking, the boy took in the forms of the gorgeous women at his sides. Mary Marvel, Superwoman, and Rebecca Costa Brown, Alexandria, were pressed up against his side and were sleeping peacefully. Both were equally naked, giving Naruto a full view of their naked dark-skinned bodies. His hands went to the small of their backs and gently caressed them. Looking at them now, Naruto could see Rebecca's ass and was better than Mary's, while Mary seemed to beat her in the chest department. He could feel her large melons pressing against his arm, he could also feel Rebecca's, but Mary had her beat. Nevertheless he loved them equally. Naruto closed his eyes once more, he just beat Zod and Gladiator at the same time. He earned his rest. Next day. Naruto's eyes opened and the first thing he saw was the ceiling. He sighed in relief upon discovering it was the ceiling to his room. The blonde got off his bed and did a few stretches. He had gone to bed with his clothes on last night, thank Rao he couldn't sweat. Stripping to his boxers, Naruto opened the window and flew out. Dawn was almost over, he could see the scattering of the sun's rays. Naruto slowly floated just above the roof of his house. Naruto raised his hands as the sun rose up, its rays bathing him and empowering his cells. Random neighborhood MILF. She stared up the magnificent god floating above with lust. Dear God, his body was beautiful. The bulge in his boxers was even more so. She had watched him do this for years and after he reached puberty her interest peaked. That word "oh" again, she almost jumped at the voice of her husband behind her. Always T-posing like a crazy person. "I don't get why you always watch him, every single morning." "Ah, well me the other wives need something to talk about. You know." She laughed nervously. "And now go take a bath, you have to go to work soon." "Okay, I'm going," the husband said as he left the room. His wife quickly turned back to the side of the blonde and his magnificent bulge. She and the other wives had much to talk about, the MILF neighbor's kid smut doesn't write itself. After unknowingly establishing dominance, Naruto went back to his room and put on some clothes. He put on a black shirt and some dark blue jeans before going to take a seat on his desk and booting up the computer. "Nice work yesterday Naruto, our fight was one for the ages." "Thanks Calark," Naruto said. Calark was Gladiator's real name, he had to earn the right to say it, and last night he had. "I'm pretty sure I only won cause I caught you off guard. My neck is itchy, boy." "So is my eye, Zod." "So is my eye," Naruto said as he went online, finding the video he was looking for. Playing it, the blonde grabbed a pen and notepad on his desk. "What's up everybody, my name is Present Mick and I'm here to give some tips to being a pro hero. First all you have to do is like and subscribe to my channel." "Seriously, this idiot. I can teach you more about hero work." "I hate to say it, but Homelander is right, you're wasting your time here." "Icarus, I know you're new here, but no we don't agree with Homelander, even when a miracle happens, and it's right. We don't do that here." "My mistake I guess." "Icarus has a point boy, why listen to this idiot?" "Hey I said." Icarus said that. "He has the wisdom someone like you can never have, now go in the corner before I have Thrag beat you again." But. Thrag. "I'm on it." "For the written exams," Naruto said, ignoring Homelander trying to fight against Thrag and failing. "For combat practice I trust you guys 100%. But written things. You guys have questionable morals." "That's fair enough." "Your body is mine boy." "Oh my Rao this shit again." "Oh for the love Rao, please shut up. It's a free Mindscape. I'm allowed to share my opinion." "We don't care. This isn't a democracy." "Hey lads, I have questions about how all this works exactly." "Of course Icarus. You don't need to ask, man, this is democracy, free speech and all." "Hey what about?" "Shut your mouth hell." Naruto was already used to them bickering like that and wrote down keynotes on Present Mick's presentation. The written part of the exam will most likely feature what most pro heroes have said and done. He's already gone through all the other pros, Present Mick being the last. A few hours passed and Naruto had gone through all of Present Mick's channel. The guy really liked the sound of his voice. But amongst the ramblings and tangents he tended to go on, Present Mick actually knew what he was talking about. The blonde's phone pinged, grabbing his attention. He picked it up and it was his alarm. Shit, he forgot about lunch with Mitsuki. "Oh it's almost lunch with the MILF," Mary said excitedly. Naruto rubbed his eyes as he got up. Present Mick had so many videos it took him almost 8 hours. "Can we not call her that please?" "Dusko prepare yourself, we have to find out what she's up to. For all you know she's after you for something devious." "Mary, what would a MILF want with a teenage boy that's devious?" You should read more doujins, kid. Whatever, Naruto muttered as he got up and went to take a bath. After that, the blonde dressed up in clothes recommended to him by Mary and Rebecca. Naruto was dressed in a black red hooded leather jacket over a white t-shirt with his S logo on it, some black jeans and all-star high tops. Sometimes it pays to have a rich girlfriend. Line break. Where's your son? He's gone for training, her husband shrugged. But I specifically told you not to let him go out, we are having a guest for lunch. Mitsuki growled. Why didn't you stop him? He said he did. So you choose to listen to your brat of a son over me, your wife? Mitsuki gave him a glare and the timid man instantly took a step back. You and every other person in the brat's life are the problem. You always say yes, grow a fucking pair and tell him no. He needs his confidence, honey. Plus you can't yell at me cause the neighbors are watching. The man seemed to smile as he pushed up his glasses. Oh, you're proud of yourself for that one, aren't you? Mitsuki muttered. They were currently outside their house, ready to meet their guest. I don't know what you're. Am I interrupting something? Both turned to the sky and there he was. He slowly floated down to them, a calm smile on his face. Oh not really, Mitsuki quickly forced a smile. This is my husband. It's nice to meet you, sir, Naruto said as he held out his hand. Naruto was still floating a few feet above the ground, the man had to hold out his arm upwards just to greet the blonde. You too, kid, wow that's a strong grip you have. Masaru Bakugo said with a nervous chuckle as Naruto let go of his hand, he rubbed it a bit. Hey, should you be floating around like that? Mitsuki asked with a raised eyebrow. Don't worry, I have a license, the blonde teen said nonchalantly as he floated down, his feet gently touching the ground. Oh, Mitsuki said. Please come in, lunch is ready. Thank you, Naruto smiled as he followed the two in. The house was small but not too small, just big enough for the family of three to live comfortably. He was led to their dining room where a large meal was set. The food actually looked wonderful. I may have gone overboard with lunch, Mitsuki said with a laugh as they all sat down. Please, dig in. So, where's your son? Naruto asked as they ate. His father thought it was a great idea, Mitsuki said with an eye roll. Naruto turned to Masaru with a frown on face. You shouldn't do that, don't let him push himself too hard. As his father you have to learn to put your foot down and say no. He said firmly, making the Bakugo man nod his head nervously. Mitsuki just nodded her head with a smile. The brat needed someone like that in his life, maybe she needed someone like him too. Because honestly the men in her life were suffocating her and she needed a fresh breath of air. So Naruto, what did you mean by license? Mitsuki asked. Well, I have to practice my flying otherwise I might crash. Since my quirk is a mutant type that is always activated, I need to use it a lot to have better control. I remember back in the day I would just randomly float and I almost reached space. He said as she laughed at that. But thanks to my girlfriend's father I was able to get a license. She heard about that, how quirks are like muscles and constant use means they get stronger and easier to use. They talked for about an hour before Masaru had to leave. He felt out of place because he wasn't really into the conversation. The door was loudly opened, announcing the arrival of her brat. Old hag, I'm home. He called, making her grind her teeth in anger. The damn brat was embarrassing her. As Katsuki entered the dining room, he paused at the sight of Naruto. Said blonde gave a mocking wave. What the fuck is he doing here? Nice to see you too, the blonde said. I invited him over for lunch, Mitsuki said angrily. She told the brat this morning. Now come sit your ass down and join us. The brat seemed to glare at Naruto before he huffed and walked away. Get back here, brat. She yelled but she was promptly ignored. I'll go talk to him, Naruto said as he got up and smiled at her. The food was amazing, the blonde then proceeded to go after her son, though she noted how he floated there rather than walked. Mitsuki Bakugo opened the door to his room with a huff. Damn hag, what the fuck was she thinking inviting that blonde asshole? You should really respect your elders, speaking of blonde assholes. Katsuki turned to see the smug asshole float into his room. Disrespect is unbecoming of a hero. The fuck do you want? Bakugo asked with a frown. The asshole didn't answer, instead he looked around the room. This is a surprisingly clean room, the asshole said with a nod. Everything is neatly arranged. Are those KTA posters? So he likes some of their songs. Oh my row, this is priceless. The taller blonde laughed. Big bad Bakugo, a KTA fan. Bakugo growled, his hands sparking. His body screamed at him to blow the sumbitch away. Easy Sparky, I was only teasing, the blonde said with a chuckle. So, you prepared for the entrance exams? Of course I am, Bakugo scoffed. He had been studying his ass off for 10 months. In his own humble opinion he was beyond ready. Nice, the blonde said. So Sparky, you up for a spar or have you exhausted yourself? I can take you on any time, Bakugo growled as he took a step forward. He wanted to get in the asshole's face, but then he was floating. You know a place we can go. The local quirk gym, he grunted out. We can go all out there. Cool, now go ask your mommy for permission. The asshole said with a smug smile. While you're at it, ask if she will give you a ride. I'm not gonna ask that, ha. Don't be a fucking and just do it. Bakugo actually took a step back at the glare he was being given, or would you rather I carry you around like a princess? Fine, Kitsuki muttered. Mitsuki, who was listening in behind the door, quickly bolted back downstairs. Jumped onto the couch and picked up a random magazine. A few seconds later, the boys came downstairs. With Bakugo approaching her and Naruto calmly floating a few feet away. See, can we go to the quirk gym? Her son asked. He was blushing red and avoiding eye contact. Of course you can, she said with a smile. Her hand went to his spiky hair and patted it. Can you also give us a ride there? He grumbled. Mitsuki was tempted to ask him to repeat that, but that might just piss him off. Of course, let's go. She grinned. Naruto had made progress in just 2 minutes where she'd been trying and failing since Kitsuki had hit puberty. She turned him and Naruto gave her a wink. The three blondes got into the family minivan and drove off to the nearest gym. Musatafu City had about 5 quirk gyms. Quirk gyms are gyms for people with quirks where they can train them or let loose after a stressful day. Quirk gyms are usually large dorm-like structures. Heavily reinforced and able to stand 2 pro heroes going at it. Most of the people you found were middle schoolers practicing their quirks or overworked frustrated salarymen who were there to let out their frustration. Thank God these gyms didn't charge much for entrance fee, you could go in and go nuts and you wouldn't be charged for the damages. After paying, Mitsuki and the boys were led to an arena where people were already watching to quirk users go at it. There was a referee for the spars, usually a hero. They had to wait a few minutes for the 2 quirk users to finish their fight. After that it was Kitsuki and Naruto's turn. Mitsuki was given a seat in the crowd of a few people watching. Alright kids, I want a nice clean fight, the referee said. He was a little man made of bulky rock, 2 heads taller than the boys. If I see anything I don't like, I'll step in. He punched his rocky fists as a sign of intimidation, but the 2 teens didn't seem to care. Right, I'll take a step back when the whistle blows. You're dead blondie, Bakugo growled as he got into a stance. Kitsuki was dressed in a black tank top, baggy cargo pants and combat boots. You realize both of us are blonde, right, dumbass? Naruto said with a smirk. Naruto's stance was him calmly floating with his arms folded on his chest. He'd given his jacket to Mitsuki cause the blonde didn't want it to get dirty. Bakugo just growled, arms at his sides and hands sparking. The reef took a step back as the loud whistle was heard. Bakugo threw a hand out and aimed an explosion at Naruto's side. The thing was loud and Naruto's hand quickly went to his ear. Bakugo fires off another onto the side, making the taller teen grab both ears in pain. The only thing Bakugo knew about Naruto was that he could fly unaided. Bakugo was sick of the smug bastard floating around like everything was beneath him. He smirked as he saw Naruto fall to his knees on the ground. Not so tough, huh? He smirked as he took a step forward. Know your place, trash. Bakugo sent a kick to the blonde's face. Bakugo had once kicked a brick wall in a feat of rage once, it felt the same as kicking the asshole blondie in the face. It was painful. You almost had me the first time, not gonna lie. Naruto said. He got up. His face was clean and Bakugo's attack had done nothing. Bakugo growled as he went to punch Naruto in the face, but the taller blonde caught it with his right hand. I should warn you, my quirk gives me invincibility. I don't want you breaking your arm before the exams. At first Bakugo didn't want to seriously injure anyone. His quirk was very powerful after all. But now, since the bastard in front of him could take a hit. The hand Naruto was holding let out an explosion that sent the blonde staggering back. Boom. Another explosion sent Naruto back and this time Bakugo had increased the intensity. That's it. Naruto said before literally vanishing in front of the shocked Bakugo. He appeared next to the shorter blonde and backhanded him in the cheek. The attack sent Bakugo staggering back. I like that shirt. Naruto's shirt had caught fire from Bakugo's attack and the blonde didn't seem to mind as he just ripped it off his body. What exactly is your quirk? Bakugo asked as he stared at the floating blonde with a frown. The only thought he had now was what diet and training regimen Naruto was on cause the blonde was fucking ripped. Superior, a mutation quirk that gives me multiple quirks. Including super strength, super speed, invulnerability and heat vision. Naruto's eyes glowed red. I suggest you dodge. Bakugo moved to the side just as fucking lasers shot out of the Naruto's eyes and hit the spot he was standing in microseconds ago. Naruto super sped in front of Bakugo, smirked at his fellow blonde before lightly pushing him the chest. Bakugo was sent flying back. As his back hit the ground he groaned only to see Naruto looking down at him. Listen kid, I don't wanna hurt you too badly cause we have UAI exams tomorrow. So I'll make this quick, Naruto said before flicking Bakugo in the head and knocking him out. As Naruto walked towards her with an unconscious Katsuki slugged over his shoulder. Mitsuki stared at the shirtless Naruto with wide eyes. Damn, he was ripped. His body looked like an Adonis, a man crafted to perfection by the very gods. We should go, Katsuki needs his rest for tomorrow. He said with a smile. Why yeah okay, she said as he walked past her. Is he going to be okay? He's just sleeping, he said with a grin. Hopefully this experience humbles him. That's why you did it? Mitsuki asked as they walked to the car. Mitsuki seems like someone who takes being a hero very seriously. But his arrogance will be his downfall. Don't get me wrong, I'm also arrogant, but I know my limits. Bakugo doesn't seem to know his name, and that could get him killed. Naruto said as they got to the car, he put her son in the backseat before closing the door and turning to her. She stared up into his blue eyes as he in turn looked down into her red. He began leaning down as Mitsuki gulped. His hands came to her shoulders, gripping them lightly. He was trying to kiss her, and Mitsuki wasn't sure if she should stop him or. Can I have my jacket please, he said with a smile. Mitsuki blinked as a blush slowly spread on her face. Dear God, she thought he was going to. Oh, right, Mitsuki said as she took the jacket off. So when will I be seeing you again? Who knows, Naruto shrugged. But I do know one thing. Oh? And what's that? Mitsuki asked, a hand on her hip and a smirk on her face. I can't wait to see you, he said. The last thing Mitsuki saw was his smile before he flew off. That's one more thing we both have in common, Mitsuki said with a sigh. She was 90% sure Naruto was infatuated with her. On their way here Naruto kept on looking at her legs, and honestly, it felt nice being looked at like that. Thought. Mitsuki's bad manners were a nasty habit that can drive away any person who could actually see them. She didn't know if they would eventually drive Naruto away, but what she did know is that she'd help her son keep Naruto as a friend. Even if it meant she used the handsome blonde's crush on her. The things I do for my family, she muttered as got into the car and drove off. Monday. Naruto stared at the open Gets If UAI high. Today was the day of the entrance exams. With a frown, today was the day. He had been practicing for years for this day. He should be excited, but yet he could help but feel nervous. You look like an idiot just standing there. Naruto ignored the voice of Bakugo from the side. Even though the boy said it with an arrogant smirk. Naruto could hear the poor fool's heartbeat. The two blondes were nervous. Welp, no time like the present. Naruto said he began his walk. I'm gonna beat you, the boy said as Naruto smiled. Good luck with that kid. What the fuck is up with this test? A kid with spiky blue hair called out. This shit has to be college level. You're disturbing your friends, please take your seat and go back to your exams. The woman at the front of the class said with a frown. But it's not fair. Come on guys, this is bullshit, they're setting us up to fail. The kid said as he banged his fist on the table. Why yeah, he's right. This is too hard. Setting us up to fail. I understand that the exam is too hard for you, but we have people who are actually taking this seriously. She gestured to a blonde who was calmly writing. He looks like a rich kid, I bet he had tutors before this. The blue-haired yelled. Your final warning, sit down or you will be removed. The woman glared. This is UAI, the best school in the whole country. You thought we'd put in 1+1. If it's too hard you're free to go, the door's wide open. I don't want your bitching to disturb someone who clearly knows what they're doing. It's not fair, the boy muttered as he sat down. Some of us have it easier, he glared at the blonde one last time before looking down at his own question paper. Meanwhile with said blonde. The questions were hard, but Naruto would manage them. What made the already hard exam even harder was them. Alright boys, you guys have the deepest voices that would make even weeps like that green-haired kid we passed by earlier grow a mustache just by hearing you speak. We are gathered here today because apparently Icarus is musically talented and a choir master. Who would have thought? Zod said. Now he will lead us through this, Icarus my good man, we are in your hands. Alright lads, let's take it from the top. A 1, a 2 and go. Naruto wanted some peace and quiet so he could get through this already difficult exam. But no, these assholes decided to make things a million times worse by singing the song of the Dragonborn from Skyrim. Davakian, Naloques in Lasbarian, Wadi and Vakal Maferak Ostval. Naruto knew those bastards were deliberately making things difficult for him. The worst part was that he couldn't even stop them unless he went in there and tried fighting them. But everyone knew how that would turn out. What pissed him off the most was that they were actually good. They sang the song spot on too. Naruto ignored the singing and turned to the question paper. Q78. What was Present Mix's first hero name? Well fuck. Did you get it? I did, Namuri said with a frown as she held out a folder. Rumi tried grabbing it, but she held it back. Why did you want this again? I need to know more about this, Rumi said with a clenched fist. The R-rated hero narrowed her eyes at the rabbit hero. Why? You wanna beat him up or something? She asked as Rumi shook her head. And no, nothing like that. I just wanna know what his quirk is, Rumi quickly defended. I've never seen anyone fight like that before. Namuri handed her the file, and Rumi quickly began reading it. Let's see, Unum is Naruto Uzumaki, quirk name Superior. Superior? Namuri snorted in amusement. What kind of quirk name is that? Well, it's a mutant type quirk that what the fuck? Rumi yelled eyes wide as she read through the file. Subject's quirk gives him the abilities of super strength, super speed, flight, invulnerability, heat vision, superhuman breath, and accelerated healing. Damn, Namuri muttered with wide eyes. That's a lot. Not only that. Listen to this, Rumi said as she glared at the file in her hand. Subject's mutant type quirk breeds other sub-quirks. His heat vision has the side effect of giving him heat vision, infrared vision, microscopic vision, telescopic vision, thermal vision, and X-ray vision. His superhuman breath gives him a freeze breath and wind breath. His super speed gives him superhuman reflexes and agility. What the hell is this kid? The black-haired beauty asked with a frown. It's like they asked a bunch of middle schoolers what quirks they want and just put all the answers into one boy. This is bullshit. Rumi growled as she crushed the file in her grip. That smug bastard, he thinks he's better than me just because his quirk is superior. Namuri smirked. Huh, so that's why it's called that. I'll show him who's superior. Rumi said as a savage smirk made its way onto her face. And how do you plan on doing that? Namuri asked with an amused smile. The entrance exam. I'll sneak into the practical exam and beat that crap out of him. Rumi grinned as she smacked her fist against her palm. As a hero and your friend. I can't let you do that, Namuri deadpanned. Too late, I readily signed up. Rumi laughed. You can't stop me. If only you took life this seriously, Namuri muttered. Honestly, I signed up on whim before I even met Uzumaki. This is just fate. Namuri just sighed at that. She should probably stop the bunny hero, but Rumi was determined. Besides, the kid can probably take a hit. Plus Namuri had a sinking suspicion he was arrogant because if someone had a quirk named Superior they probably were arrogant. Bakugo sighed as he came out of the exam room. The damn written test was fucking insane. That shit was probably collage level. Haha, you look like you struggled, Bakugo turned the smug blonde who was leaning against the wall with a smirk. Shut up, asshole. I aced that test. He growled as the bastard laughed. Of course you did, the asshole said. I need to talk to you. Fuck off, I have a practical exam to take. Bakugo huffed and was about to walk away only to feel a steel-like grip on his shoulder. That wasn't a request, Bakugo was about to punch the asshole, but froze at the serious look on his face. Walk with me if you want to make it through the practical exam. Naruto patted him on the shoulder before he slowly began walking in the direction of the crowd was gathering. Bakugo grunted before quickly falling into step with the blonde. What do you mean I'll fail? The exam is different this year, Naruto said as they slowed down their pace. I believe the practical exam is setting up people to fail. That's the point of an exam, Bakugo grunted out. To weed out the weak from the strong. I think it's because of the death rate, Naruto said as Bakugo turns to him with a frown. The blonde didn't have his smug asshole smile, but a serious thoughtful look. Last year's death rate of paid heroes was high, thanks to not only Stain the hero killer, but some other things out there. The practical exam would push us to the limit and quite possibly break us. But if we team up we can cover our weaknesses. No way I'm teaming up with you. Bakugo yelled with a scowl. I'm gonna beat the exam and you. Okay, but a quick warning. This time use your head, make use of the answers you wrote down on the written exam. Naruto said. Bakugo scoffed and walked away. He didn't want people assuming they were friends after all. Alright brats, gather around. Midnight cracked her whip and smirked at the flinches she was getting. Namuri is a tall curvaceous woman with sky blue eyes, which tilt downwards in the center. Framed by a set of rather long eyelashes. She has abundant spiky dark purple hair, which is made up of layers of varying lengths, the longest ones reaching down below her waist. Her chin-length bangs are split into 3 sections. 2 swept to the sides and 1 over her face, going diagonally down to the left between her eyes. She also has a small beauty mark below her left eye, as well as red painted nails. Her hero costume is very similar to one of a traditional dominatrix. She wears a breastless black leather leotard similar in style to a corset over a thin, skin-tight white bodysuit which accentuated her voluptuous figure. The center strip of her leotard is embellished with red gemstone-like accessories in a vertical pattern, extending from her collar to her midriff. She also wears translucent black thigh-high garter stockings, which were attached to a burgundy utility belt decorated with gold studs around her hips, a matching pentagonal buckle in its center, and black knee boots. She has a small red mask outlining her eyes and a handcuff on each wrist. She is often seen carrying a Floger-style whip. The white bodysuit is made of thin material that is easily rippable. Behind me is the practical exam, Midnight jabbed a thumb behind her at the large wall and gates. Her eyes scanned the frightened looks she got from the brats, and it made her feel hot. Inside those walls you will be tested to your limits, a real-life simulation of an aftermath of a villain with an earthquake quirk. Your jobs is to save the poor victims caught in the crossfire of this terrible event. But beware. Some villains have taken it upon themselves to loot and terrorize the city. Take them down and you will be awarded points. Some villains are S-class and will grant you more points. So make sure to take down as many enemies as you can. The rated hero gave a wink and watched most of them blush. Her eyes scanned the brats until they landed on one particular blonde. He wasn't looking at her but at the gates with a frown. He was probably using his X-ray vision. Naruto Uzumaki. That was a name she would never forget. The blonde's arsenal was impressive, but could he use it? Most men boosted a big package but couldn't use it worth a damn. She was sure Naruto was the same. He was dressed in a white shirt that had a diamond logo with an S in it, a pair of black track pants and some running shoes. Alright, brats, good luck. She raised her whip and the large gates behind her opened up. Chaos, everything was chaos. The would-be city he was in was almost completely destroyed. Fires here and there and buses rammed into buildings. Speaking of buildings, no buildings stood tall and the ones that did were barely hanging on. First things first, I have to find survivors. Naruto thought to himself as he floated to the sky. His telescopic gaze quickly scanned the area and his super hearing tried to pick up anyone screaming for help. Spotting a woman trapped under some debris, Naruto quickly zoomed over to her. The blonde quickly and easily lifted the large rocks off the woman. Okay ma'am, you're safe for now. Naruto gave his best reassuring smile, a smile taught to him by Homelander of all people. Grab my hand so I can. The blonde moved his head to the side, avoiding a red laser. Fired by a humanoid robot of all things. Help me please. The woman cried out as Naruto quickly grabbed her and moved just as the robot fired another laser. The blonde quickly fired a laser of his own, the twin beams burning through the metal head of the machine. The robot promptly fell to the ground, hopefully dead. You saved my life. The woman said. Naruto took a close look at her, and she was blue. She is a young woman who has a rather slim build, her skin color is light blue. She has dark blue short hair, which is backwards and upwards, parting on the left, and yellow eyelashes. She is dressed in a white long-sleeved shirt and black pants and brown shoes. You're welcome, now I have to get you somewhere safe. Naruto said as he looked around, using his supervision to its fullest. No, I can go home alone, Fro. I insist you follow me, the city isn't the safest place in the world right now. Naruto said, smiling. Okay, where do we go, that's safe? She asked as Naruto pointed at one of the only standing structures. A quirk gym, it should be able to keep you safe and others we find on the way. The large dorm structure was a few miles away and kind of stuck out like a sore thumb. Ah okay, the blue woman said. I would like your permission to carry you to the dome, Naruto said with a smile. It would be easier and faster if I flew us there. Of course, the woman nodded as Naruto swept her off the ground in a bridal carry. Once she was comfortable, the blonde lifted off the ground and flew towards his destination. So what's your name? Naruto suddenly asked. He needed to make the woman feel as comfortable as possible in his presence. Again something Homelander of all people taught him. My name is Akane. The woman said as Naruto smiled. Nice to meet you Akane, Naruto said, the blue woman's name wasn't Akane. After all, the pro-hero bubble girl fit her description perfectly. Who else has blue skin and yellow eyes? You've been really brave and made things easy for me. Thank you Akane. And no problem. Akane said with a blush. Naruto quickly touched down at the entrance. The blonde looked around the area before zooming in the doom. X-ray vision gave him all the information he needed. The quirk gym was a trap, it was filled to the brim with humanoid robots that had one eye each. Naruto ignored the noise that came from the side. Glad you made it, Bakugo. Yeah whatever, the blonde grunted as he approached. Behind him was a slender man in his mid-20s with black hair dressed like a salaryman. For some reason he wore large sunglasses. I can't believe we had the same idea. To be fair, it's actually a trap, Naruto said with a shrug. But with the two of us I think we can pull it off. Of course it's a fucking trap, Bakugos scoffed as Naruto laughed. Don't worry, I have a plan. Naruto said with a wave. In that building are about 100 or so of those robots. We'll each take turns destroying them, 50-50 if you will. Yeah, but what about the civilians? Bakugo jabbed a thumb at the woman and man. I think we should take turns, one goes in while the other stays and watches them. And once this area is cleared we can go look for survivors and bring them to our safe zone. Naruto nodded. Solid plan, you go first. Whatever, his fellow blonde scoffed as he cracked his knuckles. Bakugo, who dressed in a black vest, black cargo pants and combat boots, held out his hand. A large fiery explosion shot out and blasted the large double doors off their hinges. From the darkness within, red glowing eyes could be seen peering at them. Good luck. Naruto gave a thumbs up as Bakugo ignored him and walked into the trap. A few seconds later, large explosions could be heard. I hope he doesn't destroy the whole damn place. Okay then, Naruto turned to the civilians and slowly approached them. May I know your name, sir? Aren't you supposed to give me your name first? The man asked as he pulled his large sunglasses up. Right, my mistake. Naruto said as he rubbed the back of his head. I go by the name Superman. An interesting name, Akane said with a thoughtful look. Why do you call yourself that? Because my everything is super, Naruto said as he flexed his arms. Making Akane giggle. Help. Somebody help. Naruto turned to the screams. A flyover bridge was collapsing with 2 people on top of it. I have to go, please stay right here. Naruto said before vanishing in a burst of speed. As the blonde zoomed through the air, he quickly took in the falling building and surrounding area. Okay now, we have 2 people on top of the falling building. Thankfully there's no one there. Shit, what the fuck is that girl doing? Spotting the girl running towards the falling bridge, Naruto quickly dived down. She must have had a quirk or at least a plan to counter the falling bridge she was running towards, right. Naruto quickly grabbed the girl by the collar and lifted her off the ground. Wah hey. The girl screamed. What's your quirk? Naruto asked. The blonde did his best to keep an eye on the people at the top. Hopefully it was something useful. I can make things float. She yelled over the rushing winds. Can you make yourself float? Yes. Okay, you get the civilians, I got the bridge. Naruto yelled as he increased his flying speed. It would be problematic if the bridge fell with those 2 on top of it. Hey, over here. Naruto spotted the 2 men waving their hands in the air at him. Okay, here we go. Naruto said. The girl put her hands together as the blonde put her next to the 2 civilians. The girl quickly went to work, she held the 2, and all 3 slowly started floating. Mentally nodding, Naruto quickly rushed under the falling building. He held his hands out and braced himself. The thing was heavy, but he would manage. The bridge slowly stopped. Naruto gritted his teeth as the thing began to crack and collapse. Thinking fast, Naruto used his X-ray vision and sighed in relief at the 3 figures floating a few feet away from the bridge. Okay, now I can. The bridge collapsed on top of him and the blonde was buried in concrete and steel. I honestly thought I had that in the bag. Naruto blasted the large pieces of concrete off him with his heat vision. Getting out of the rubble, the blonde was met with the brown-haired girl's wide eyes. Hello there. You're okay. The girl said as she sighed in relief. Thank you for worrying, Naruto said with a smile. He then turned to the 2 men next to her. My teammate and I have built a sort of safe haven, we can keep you safe there. Oh, that's actually a good idea, the girl said. This place is crawling with those robot things. Do you mind teaming up? With our quirks put together we can help each other out. Naruto said as he held out his hand. My name's Naruto. I'm Ichako, the girl said as she too held out her hand for a shake. Ichako is a short girl of a slender yet curvaceous figure. She is fair-skinned with a perpetual blush on her cheeks. Her eyes are large and round, their eyes is a warm auburn brown, with rather thick upper eyelashes, 2 longer and more prominent ones protruding outwards on either side, and fewer but more individually pronounced lower eyelashes. Shoulder length and about the same color as her eyes, her hair is bobbed and curved inwards at the ends, 2 longer clumps taking the same shape on either side of her face, and short bangs that reach roughly a quarter of the way down her forehead. On the top inner segment of each of her fingers, she has a small pinkish pad that's slightly darker than the rest of her skin, somewhat resembling the toe of a cat or a dog's paw. She is dressed in a white shirt, short gray skirt and black leggings. For shoes she wore white sneakers. Nice to meet you. Naruto said as the girl blushed. Likewise, Ichako replied. The safe zone is just up ahead, let's all group up and walk together. The group of 4 would walk for 2 minutes before coming up to the side of Bakugo coming out of the large dome with a robot head in his hands. Your turn, the blonde growled out as he threw the head at Naruto. Naruto calmly caught the head and crushed it in his grip. That's our teammate Kitsuki, he said to Ichako. Ignore his rude behavior, he's shy around new people. Nice to meet you, Kitsuki. Ichako greeted only to be ignored by the boy. Like I said, shy, Naruto said, though he noticed that the civilians talking in hushed whispers. He could have easily spied, but that's not what heroes do. Instead he looked straight at the safe zone. 30 robots remain. That's just not fair. Whatever, Kitsuki huffed. I'll be back in a flash. Naruto said before vanishing in a blur. A second later, the sound of crushing and explosions could be heard. Shouldn't we go help him? Ichako asked with a frown. Just keep a lookout, was all Kitsuki said. 2 minutes later Naruto came out. Hey guys, it's all clear. Ichako sighed in relief while Bakugo just grunted. Sir Night-Eye stared at the three teens with a frown. The UAI entrance exam, one of the hardest exams in the whole country, was going relatively easy for them. All thanks to the two blondes. The instructions were to fight and gain points, but the teens went as far as to set up a safe zone for civilians. With one staying guard and the others going to find civilians. Pulling out a flip phone, Night-Eye pushed a few buttons. These kids are having it way too easy. The pro hero in disguise looked around, more than 50 people were currently in the safe zone. The brats would usually go out and bring not only more civilians, but other brats as well. The exam would be done soon at the rate the two teens were going at. It was time to bring in the big leagues. Mitsuki frowned as he sat on a piece of rubble. He had a few scratches on him, but other than that he was fine. The practical exam would have been harder if it wasn't for the blonde asshole, though he would never say it out loud. Speaking of the blonde, he was about to give a talk to the extras they'd picked up. This is great. Naruto grinned, his hands were at his waist as he stood before 10 people. First of all, I'd like to thank everyone for their help. Thanks to everyone here, things have been made easier. But the final test has just begun. Mitsuki huffed at that. The bastard was saying cheesy lines that actually worked. Kitsuki could see the awe in extras' eyes as they listened. Wait. What did he mean by the final test had just begun? I know we come from different backgrounds, but for today we are united. A league broadcast together to bring justice, a justice league. Mitsuki cringed so hard he almost fell off the rock he sat on. But for some reason, that shit was working. So let's give this final fight our all. Naruto roared as he pumped his fist in the air. The others followed as well. What does he mean by final fight? For today we are the Justice League. YHHH. Mitsuki face palmed too so hard. Suddenly, a figure appeared on top of a building. Behind them, what looked like hundreds of robots floated. Captain Superior, I have come for you. The figure, who was literally the rabbit hero Mirko in an all-black version of her suit. Prepare to die by my hand. I am the villain known as Auntie Mirko. Didn't think the name through, she muttered that last part out, but everyone still heard her. Anyway, you are no much for my army. And you're no much for my Justice League. Naruto replied as he slowly floated off the ground. Defend the safe zone with everything you have. Attack, Mirko pointed down at them as the robots followed her order. The sky going dark as hundreds of them fell down onto them. Finally some action. Naruto blasted upwards with Kitsuki following suit. The blondes met the robots first and made quick work of them. Naruto blasted the first of them with his heat vision, Kitsuki used one hand to blast himself upwards and another to blast the robots to dust. DCH, never send a robot to do a villain's job. Mirko yelled before diving towards Naruto. Mitsuki lost sight of the blonde as he was swarmed by the bots. Naruto put his hands up in an X and blocked Mirko's kick mid-air. But the force of it pushed him back to the ground. You think you're better than me? Mirko yelled as she landed a few feet away from him. Fucking Captain Superior. What? Naruto blinked before turning to the safe zone. The other participants of the exam were holding off. Brah. Mirko leaped off the ground and delivered a Liu Kang bicycle kick to Naruto's upper body. The distracted blonde took the full force of the attack. The force and strength of the kick sent him staggering back. Mirko then used his chest as a springboard and bounced back. Take me seriously, Captain Superior. Naruto sighed as he shook his head. He was too focused on the safe zone instead of the pro-villain in front of him. I'll take you seriously now, the blonde said as his eyes glowed red. Naruto blurred forward, fist buried in Mirko's gut so hard she was sent flying back. He then appeared behind her and backhanded to the ground. Mirko slammed face first into the ground, she quickly tried getting up, but Naruto grabbed her leg and threw her into a swarm of bots. Huffing, Naruto turned to his team of recruits. Smiling as he watched them handle things. Bakugo seemed to be leading them, though it looked like he was doing it unintentionally. I underestimated you, Naruto turned to Mirko who was slowly walking towards him. She seemed to glare at him as she got into a stance. Mirko bent down like she was about to race, hands at the ground, one knee on the ground and the other stretched back. I'm going full throttle. Before Naruto could ask what that meant, Mirko's form blurred out of existence. Wait, why? A foot with a metallic boot impacted Naruto's face so hard he was sent flying. Mirko had just kicked him with everything she had. Bakugo blinked as Naruto slammed into a nearby building. He would have laughed if it wasn't for the fact that Naruto was one of the strongest here. He was getting stomped. Hearing metal footsteps coming towards him, Kitsuki held out a hand and blasted the damn robots to rubble. Someone go check on the blonde asshole. He roared to the peanut gallery. Brah. A buff kid with spiky hair and big lips roared as he punched away 5 robots. The guy was strong, but Bakugo could tell he had no skill whatsoever. Behind him was Amidget throwing purple balls from his head. I'll go check on him. A girl with short dark purple hair called. as she quickly got up from behind a large piece of rubble and ran to where Naruto was. "Hey you." Bakugo called out to a guy with spiky red hair and stone-like skin. "Go with her, now." "You got it." The guy grinned before punching a robot in the face, his fist going through the thing like wet paper. He then quickly followed after the girl. "Hey purple brat." Bakugo pointed at the short kid. "Go to the back, you're useless here. And big lips, you're with her." He pointed to a girl with pink skin and said girl jumped at his voice. The guy didn't seem to listen, busy attacking the enemies recklessly. "Great, he's one of those." Kitsuki muttered, he wanted something done, he'd do it himself. "You come with me." "Okay." The girl quickly ran towards him. "Your quirk is the acid shit, right?" Kitsuki asked as the girl frowned. "I wouldn't call it Whatever, I want you to fire as much acid as you can over there." Kitsuki pointed at the dorm. "Cover the entire entrance with as much as you. The rest of us will hold the line." But wah. "Just do it already." Bakugo growled out before putting a hand back and blasting himself forward. Naruto blinked as he slowly got up. "Hey man, you okay?" He turned to the side of a spiky red-haired kid holding his hand out. "You took a hard hit. Can you get up?" Next to him, black-haired girl asked. "We have to move, she's on her way here." Naruto's instincts flared and he moved. He grabbed the girl and moved her. He would have gone for the boy, but Mirko was already here. The spot he was in moments ago was now occupied by Mirko's foot. "What the? Out of my way extra." The crazy Mirko roared as she backhanded the redhead. Naruto, who had grabbed the purple-haired girl, quickly zoomed over to Bakugo. "I'll leave you here for a bit," Naruto said before speeding away just as the blur that is Mirko chased after him. "Hide me like a man, superior man." Mirko roared as charged at the teen. Naruto turned and fired his heat vision, but the pro hero moved to the side. He needed a plan, the two were locked in a high-speed fight and Mirko was just too experienced for him. She lashed at him with a kick and Naruto grunted as he brought up his hands and protected his head. His eyes narrowed as he watched his fellow teen struggle against the robots that seemed to increase in number. "Focus on me, you damn brat." Naruto was suddenly kneed in the nose, causing him to stumble and fall. Mirko took advantage of this, as Naruto fell she jumped on his face. Repeatedly. The back of Naruto's head crushed through the concrete as his face was brutally attacked. And at super speed, Mirko rapidly jumped on his face. Mirko was about to stomp on him again when she was suddenly grabbed by a giant hand made out of red energy. But the foo, she was promptly thrown away. Naruto slowly stood to his feet, his head hurt like hell. The blood spat a glob of blood at the ground and stared at the red liquid with a frown. This was the first time he'd seen his own blood in real life. "Hour of the ancestors," Naruto said, the red aura of hell's power covering his body. He only had a few minutes before the power ran out. "What the fuck is this?" Mirko asked as she jumped to her feet. Naruto didn't answer, instead he blurred forward. His aura-covered fist slammed against the side of Mirko's head so hard she was sent flying. The rabbit hero quickly controlled herself and managed to land on her feet. "Damn," she growled as she spat out a tooth. "What the fuck is that red shit?" Naruto said nothing, he just held out his hand and red-covered debris floated around them and flew at Mirko. The pro hero proved her speed and agility as she fluidly dodged the large concrete pieces. Some she destroyed with a kick. Naruto formed his armor around his body as Mirko got closer. "You fucker." Mirko roared as she flew at him with a kick. Naruto caught her by the foot. Mirko stared at him with wide eyes before pulling her leg back. She went for her bicycle kick, but Naruto calmly blocked her kicks with his forearms. Seeing this ineffective, Mirko pulled back. "You're just gonna let me do all the work then?" She smirked. Naruto tilted his head to the side before he moved. Mirko's eyes widened as he punched her in the stomach and cheek at the same time. No, more like he punched her twice, but it was so fast it felt like he hit her at the same time. He then went for more hits. Mirko felt like she was moving in slow motion, his hands were red blurs that hid every part of her body she left exposed. He went for her stomach, sides and face. Her instinct was to raise her arms and protect her head. Naruto then went for an uppercut that sent Mirko back, it wasn't his full power, but it was enough to knock her out. He managed to catch her before she fell to the ground. Naruto sighed as he put her in a bridal carry. At least it was taken care of. Suddenly the heat around him increased. His eyes widened before he turned to where he had last seen Bakugo. Was that fucking Endeavor? Shit. Naruto quickly flew towards the safe zone they had made. Bakugo and the others needed his help. "What's going on?" Naruto said as he landed next to the black-haired girl he had saved from before. "The Endeavor just appeared out of nowhere," she said as Naruto cursed. "Are the civilians safe?" he asked as he put Mirko down, using his telekinesis to pull a large metal beam to him. He then wrapped it around Mirko lest she wake up, "One pro hero at a time please." "Yes, but I think we might have more," she said as she looked up at him. Okay, I'm trusting you to find as many as you can, and if you can't move them come tell me. Naruto said as she nodded. Right, but where are you going? Someone's gotta help take down Endeavor, Naruto said, the red glow around him intensifying before he flew off, leaving the ground cracked and a shocked Kyokijiro. What the fuck, she muttered with wide eyes. Bakugo growled as he fired a large explosion at the pro hero Endeavor. The number 2 strongest hero in the country. For some reason, it felt like the practical exams were cheating. Endeavor was way too much for them, this was it, they were done. The guy they were fighting was just too much for them. Endeavor, dressed in a pure black version of his normal costume, casually backhanded the explosion. Who the fuck does that? The guy who was munching on sugar and getting stronger ran at the pro villain with an angry roar. Wait, you idiot. Bakugo called out but was promptly ignored. Endeavor just dodged the right hook and quickly countered with a punch to the boy's head and a push kick that sent him flying in some rubble. Shit, Bakugo cursed. Physically, he was their strongest and he was done in with 2 punches. The only people left that could actually help were the dark shadow guy and that tall gray-haired guy with the extra arms. You two with me, he pointed at the 2. The rest fall back and be the last defense. You'll just get in the way. Everyone quickly began falling back, leaving him, the bird guy and the arms guy. Spoken like a true leader, Bakugo didn't bother looking to his right, he knew the blonde asshole was there. He sighed in relief, hoping the bastard didn't. I heard that, he could practically hear the smug smile. Honestly, first Mirko and now this. It's like they're setting us up to fail. So what now? The bird face guy asked as he got close. He's clearly waiting for a fight, the masked guy with the extra arm said as he too stood in line with him. He won't move unless we do. Thank God for small miracles, the blonde asshole said with a sigh. Say your names now. Yumikage Tokoyami, the guy with the head of a bird, possibly a crow or raven, said. Mizo Shoji. Mizo is a tall, muscular young man with pale gray hair swept forwards, covering most of his face, and bent downwards at almost a right angle over his eye. He has 6 arms, all attached to each other by a web of skin. Bakugo, Katsuki said, eyes trained solely on Endeavor. The man was just staring at them with his arms folded. And that asshole is Naruto. So can we get this over with? Yeah, Naruto said. My trump card will only last for 2 minutes. We don't have enough time to plan things out, so we hit hard and we hit him fast. Make sure to keep an eye on each other's moves, we can't afford accidents. God. Right. Let's do this. Naruto roared before he vanished in a burst of speed. The blonde appeared in front of Endeavor and delivered an uppercut right into the villain's stomach, sending him staggering back. Naruto didn't wait, large energy fists formed around his hands and he proceeded to punch Endeavor in the face. Repeatedly. Alright, let's move, Bakugo took off with an explosion. Endeavor was too distracted with blocking Naruto's punches. His back was wide open. Bakugo shot past the 2 fighters, he turned mid-air and aimed at the villain's lower back. He then fired with everything he had. Boom. Endeavor was sent flying forward, right into Naruto's well-timed uppercut. The punch sent him flying. Dark Shadow. Tokoyami roared as his quirk Dark Shadow shot forward and wrapped around Endeavor's leg. It then wiped him down to the ground. Endeavor got to his feet but quickly put his hands up just as a large boulder thrown by Shoji crashed into him. Where the fuck did you find that boulder? Bakugo asked with wide eyes. Shoji turned away for a split second. Enough of this, Shoji didn't have enough time to move or block the fist that impacted the side of his head, sending him flying. Endeavor moved so fast. Dark Shadow, attack. Tokoyami sent his shadow. Endeavor roared as his large arms and legs caught fire. He then backhanded the shadow, then broke into a run towards Tokoyami. The bird head froze in pure fear, he was done for. He was going to die. Naruto quickly came to the rescue by firing his heat vision at the villain. The blonde then covered himself in red armor before rushing towards Endeavor with a roar. Endeavor's flames seemed to intensify as he met Naruto midway. His large fist went for the blonde's head, but he was faster. Naruto dodged and countered with a right hook to the face that caused shockwaves. Endeavor tanked it and countered with his own punch to the blonde's face. Naruto staggered a bit but quickly went back to punching. His fists blurs as he punches with all his strength and speed. Endeavor could only hold up his hands. Naruto went for his body shots, fist cracking ribs and bruising muscles. Naruto then flew back, eyes glowing red before he reared his arm back, a large red fist forming before he punched with all his might. The fist shattered upon impact with Endeavor, but it did send him flying back. Naruto's red armor disappeared from his body and he slumped over. Breathing hard. I think we. Endeavor appeared before the blonde in an instant. He punched Naruto so hard the blonde eyes went pure white. His body would have gone flying, but the villain grabbed him by the leg and slammed him face first into the ground. The ground cracked and broke at the impact, but Endeavor wasn't done yet. He then slammed Naruto back first in the concert ground. The blonde screamed in intense pain. Endeavor then spun around and threw the kid with all his might. Bakugo stared with wide eyes as their most powerful teammate was beaten. Endeavor, he'd looked down on the man for being number 2. But now. He had a new respect for the pro hero. And to think All Might is stronger. You're beaten, Endeavor huffed. Surrender so we can get this game over with. Aim. He could fighting them a game. Bakugo wiped his mouth. Naruto lost to this man. He stood no chance, but then. I don't care. Bakugo roared as he put both hands forward and fired, increasing his explosion's heat as much as possible. I'll blow you away. Endeavor brought a hand up and blocked the explosions. He could feel them pushing him back, but he slowly began walking forward. Bakugo tried his best, but Endeavor walked through his explosions like they were nothing. Bakugo gave it his all and it did nothing. His hands fell to his sides, and Endeavor now stood before him, looking down at him with a frown. "Do better," was all the man said as he poked Bakugo in the forehead with his finger. The boy was too weak to even take that, slowly fell to the ground in an exhausted heap. "Let's take him inside." "Oh no, they're coming." Naruto slowly opened his eyes, and the first thing he saw was a Chaco looking down at him with worried eyes. "You're awake," she said happily as Naruto groaned. "Don't move so much, you're hurt." "What's happening?" Naruto asked as he tried to get up, but the girl quickly pushed him back down. "The others are fighting off those robot things. We're safe here." Naruto could feel the soft pillow his head was on and wanted nothing more than to sleep. But not even a nice lap pillow like this one would keep him down. "I have to help," he said as he got up. "But..." "Don't worry," Naruto said as he stood up. He held out his hand and helped the girl up to her feet. The blonde looked around, he was inside the safe zone, and by the sounds he was picking up, fighting was still going on. His eyes scanned the room, most of the civilians were still in here. Most of the friends he had made along the way must have been outside. Nodding to himself, Naruto quickly floated to the entrance. Smiling as he noticed everyone was working together and seemed to have everything under control. The blonde spotted a piece of rumble and took a seat. He had racked up enough points as it was, now it was their chance to shine. But the last robot smashed to pieces, an announcement was made. "And with that, the practical exams have been concluded. Thank you for participating." Naruto spotted a tired Bakugo before he quickly floated over to him. "Damn, you got your ass beat." Naruto laughed as the other boy glared at him. "So did you, asshole," Bakugo grumbled as he walked. The exam was over, everyone was allowed to go, and if you were injured and needed medical attention, they'd take care of it. Everyone who had participated in the exam looked tired, like zombies they shuffled to the exit. "That was a tough one, sure hope we pass." Naruto said as smacked his friend on the back. "Come on now, let's go home." Bakugo cursed under his breath as the two made their way out the exit. "I'll see you when I see you," Naruto said as Bakugo grumbled a whatever under his breath. "Say hello to your mom for me." "Fuck off." "You too, buddy, you too." "Naruto." The blonde turned to the familiar voice of his girlfriend. "Over here." "Momo," the blonde smiled as he floated towards his girlfriend who was waiting by her limo. "You're a sight for sore eyes." "Huh?" Curvy teen looked confused as her boyfriend casually floated over to her and cupped her face. "Naruto wa." He then interrupted her with a kiss. A deep hungry kiss that made Momo moan loudly into his mouth. Naruto pulled back and hugged her, his head on her shoulder. "Hey, is everything alright?" Momo could feel all eyes on them. Her face was red with embarrassment. "Naruto." The reply she got was loud snoring. "Hey, wake up." "Do you think I passed?" Naruto asked as Mary shrugged. "Who knows," the superwoman to his Superman said with a smirk. "Just relax, you fell unconscious because the exam was mentally taxing on your mind." Naruto just sighed. He was currently in a large white pool filled with warm water. Leaning next to him was his dark-skinned beauty Mary. "Yeah, I can't believe I fainted." "Well, I know something that can help you take your mind off it," Mary said as she snapped her fingers. Suddenly the world changed from white space with a hot tub to a room with a large bed. "Insert lemon here." He stared at the monitors as they went black with a frown. A hand going to his green hair and plucking out a strand. "If you keep doing that you'll lose all your hair," a voice said from the side. "Spare me your sarcastic comments, Shigaraki." The boy said as pulled another strand out. "I don't do this cause I want to, I do it when I'm annoyed." "What, your plan to spy on the UAI entrance exam failed?" Shigaraki asked as he stepped closer. "No, that worked, it's what I saw that annoyed me," he said as he typed something on his computer and footage of the practical exam came on one of the screens. "I managed to hack one of those robots to check on my old friend Bakugo when I spotted him." Shigaraki stared at the smiling blonde on the screen. "And who is that?" The next symbol of hope, he played the video of the blonde flying and moving at fast speeds. "This is interesting," Shigaraki muttered. "If we could get him on our side." Or take him out before he gets stronger. He said calmly as he pulled out another strand. I'm sure we can come up with something, Shigaraki smiled. For someone called Deku you really are useful. Coming from you, that's touching, Deku said sarcastically. We'll plan that out later, for now let's go play Last Fantasy 16. Shigaraki offered as Deku smiled a bit. Only if I get to choose Rain Stride, Deku said as Shigaraki shrugged. Sure, why not? Also, I just figured out what we should call ourselves, Deku said with a smirk as Shigaraki turned to him. What? The pale blue-haired man asked. The League of Villains. Aizawa wanted nothing more than to close his eyes and sleep. They had been here the whole damn day, reviewing footage of the exams and choosing who would be getting into UAI and who wouldn't. If he wanted he would have slept through the whole thing, but this was important. He was here for the little guy, the people who didn't have flashy good-looking quirks but had very useful ones. No one looked out for him and his friends back in the day. Just because they didn't have flashy quirks. Things were different now, he and his friends would make sure everyone was evaluated fairly. And finally, we have him. Nezu, the principal of UAI, said as the large screen showed a blonde teen with a smile on his face. So what do we say, is he fit for UAI? Yes, I think he would make a great addition to UAI High. All Might said with a raised hand. Of course you would think that, Aizawa scoffed, making everyone in the room turn to him. He's a show-off, just like you. I take it you oppose the decision to enroll him? Nezu asked. Yes, no doubt he has a powerful quirk. But I think he just comes off as emotionless. No, not the word I was looking for, but it seemed to me he was marking off stuff on his checklist. Heck, that last stand he literally sat back and watched. He knew he had enough points and just sat back. Aizawa said as Sekijiro Kansas, Aka blood hero. Vlad King frowned. What exactly are you getting at, Aizawa? Vlad King asked. Everything about him seems robotic, no, not robotic but fake. His smile seems practiced and that little speech he gave to his friends. It seemed fake and practiced. Aizawa said as everyone looked at him. He kinda seems like a phony. I kind of like the sound of Justice League, Nezu said with a chuckle. I did notice that myself, that's why I saved it for later. What exactly did you have in mind? I propose a test, Aizawa suggested as Nezu hummed. Go on. Naruto sat up from his bed with a frown. It has been 2 weeks since the exams. Kitsuki had already received his acceptance letter, which came in the form of a video from All Might. Maybe you failed. Came the voice of Zod. How? I'm pretty sure I did most of the work. Naruto said as floated off his bed. If Kitsuki of all people got in. Honestly, who cares, you could do whatever you want. If they don't let you in their school then just become a vigilante. Naruto ignored Homelander's suggestion. Oh, better yet, build your own school. Huh. I'll take that into consideration, Homelander. Naruto said he opened his window and flew to the roof of the house. Maybe it was something I did. It was like horrible food he had eaten and was giving him a bad stomachache. Like a knife that was stabbed into his gut and twisted around. What, you dominated the show, it's probably some weak-ass punk that's jealous of how awesome you are. As hard as it is to admit, Homelander does have a point. The Gladiator said with a hum. Back in my day, I was held back for a promotion due to a politician hating me. It turns out his wife had made an offhand remake about how she liked my appearance and he didn't like that. So someone on the school board is holding Naruto back? Zod asked. Considering Naruto's appearance and quirk, it is possible that someone would be jealous. Good observation, Gladiator, I am glad you suggested this theory. Hey wait, wasn't I? So according to Gladiator, someone is jealous of me? Naruto asked with a frown as he floated back inside. Well, you do have a good-looking quirk, Alexandra chipped in. Most people have quirks that give them deformities and other unique characteristics. When you say characteristics. That one boy's head is a four-sided square. Fair enough, Naruto sighed. Might as well go see what Kitsuki is up to. Don't you mean Kitsuki's mom? Shut up, Homelander. Naruto put on some clothes, a blue shirt and some black pants, before flying off to his friend's house. Just as he was about to knock on the front door, Kitsuki's father stepped out. Oh, hey, you're Kitsuki's friend, right? His inside. The man said as he adjusted his glasses. It's nice to see you, but I gotta go. The man then rushed past Naruto, making the blonde blink. Get back here, you. Oh hey Naruto. The Bakugo MILF poked her head out the door. Come in, Kitsuki went out for his morning jog, so you're gonna have to wait for him. No problem, Naruto said with a smile as the woman stepped back and let him in. You got your acceptance letter video thing yet? Mitsuki asked, only to frown at Naruto, shaking his head no. Seriously? From what I've seen and heard from Kitsuki, you're pretty amazing. I'm sure it's just a glitch in their system. No, I don't think it is. Naruto said as he took a sit on the couch with Mitsuki sitting next to him. I think someone is sabotaging me. Really? The woman asked with a raised eyebrow. What makes you think that? Well, not to brag, but I did an amazing job, Naruto said with a chuckle. Someone is deliberately doing this to me, actively trying to bring me down. Naruto, I think you're just reading into things a bit too much. Mitsuki said as she moved closer to him. Just be patient, it's probably a glitch in their system. Yeah, but I can't help but doubt myself, Naruto said with a sigh as he looked down. Naruto, never doubt yourself, you're amazing. The MILF said as she put a hand on his thigh and gently caressed it. You're smart, strong and handsome. Mitsuki's red eyes met his blues as she slowly began leaning in. I'm home. Kitsuki Bakugo yelled as barged in. Pausing to stare at his mother and Naruto who were seated closely to each. What's going on here? It's about damn time, Naruto said as he quickly got up. I've been waiting for hours. Yeah, well, I did a few extra rounds around the block. Kitsuki said. You got your acceptance letter yet? No, Naruto muttered as his fellow blonde shrugged. Let me go shower and then we can go train, the boy said as he went upstairs. I'll go look at Bakugo's KDA posters, Naruto said as he quickly floated after his friend. Mitsuki couldn't help but sigh in relief. She almost kissed someone who was way younger than her. She almost acted on the little crush she had on Naruto. She's always been attracted to powerful men who were also the bad boy types. They made for great boyfriends. But definitely not good life partners. Back in the day she used to actively look for the strongest guy on the block and date them. But then after a while it was time for some vanilla, she'd had her spicy life and was ready to grow up. Bad boys with strong quirks didn't make the best life partners. Good examples are her two friends Inko and Ray. Ray was in an abusive relationship and Inko's husband ran away to another country. Even though her man was a bit too vanilla, he still came home from an honest job and never beat her. That's why she felt guilty for thinking of Naruto when she was happily married. Even though she was happily married she wanted more. Shaking her head, Mitsuki got up from the couch and went to her room. I can't believe you like KDA, Naruto said with a chuckle as he casually floated on his back, hands behind his head. Mitsuki's eye twitched. Don't laugh at me, you like them too. He growled as Naruto waved him off. Yeah, but that's different, Naruto said. I'd expect you to be into Maximum the hormone or something. Not wanting Evelyn to step on you. Yeah, well, sorry to disappoint. The blonde huffed. The new Heroes United game is set to come out soon. Naruto raised an eyebrow. You mean the game where they pick the top 50 heroes in Japan and put them in a fighter? Also, you didn't deny Evelyn stepping on you part. I heard the characters in the game are pretty accurate to the ones in real life, Kitsuki, who had ignored Naruto's last statement, said with a grin. I can't wait to kick butt with All Might online. You and everybody else, Naruto said. I'm pretty sure they're gonna nerf All Might. I'm gonna use Star and Stripe, she might come in as a DLC letter. But pick, from what I've seen she's crazy strong. Kitsuki muttered thoughtfully. Yeah, and? You look like you could use some more. No, I got it and never run an LOW. Naruto was cut off by his phone going off. The blonde pulled it out and it was his mom. Hey mom, what? For real, are you sure it's from the UAI? Okay, I'm on my way. Something come up? Kitsuki asked as Naruto smiled. Yeah, a package from UAI at my place. Naruto said as he quickly went to the window and opened it. I gotta go, I'll keep you updated. Whatever, Kitsuki grumbled as Naruto flew out the open window. He didn't even flinch at the distant boom he heard. Just shaking his head at how costly Naruto broke the sound barrier. Wait, that bastard's ringtone is more by KTA. Why is he always making fun of me when he likes them just as much as I do? Aizawa looked up just as the boy appeared above them with a resounding boom. Breaking the sound barrier at only 16, to think what he would be able to do once he grew up. Aizawa, who stood outside the front door, blinked as a blue blur passed him by and opened the door behind me. You okay, mom? He heard from inside the house. I'm fine, dear, there's a nice man outside who would like to talk to you. Okay, I'll be right back. Aizawa blinked and the boy was floating above him. Damn, you're fast. The pro hero said as the boy folded his arms. For your sake I hope you're the real Eraserhead, the boy said with a slight glare. I am, and I brought this. Eraserhead said as pulled out a sealed envelope. Now can you please come down, looking up at you hates my eyes. The boy floated down and Aizawa handed him the envelope. Inside the envelope was a letter from Nezu himself. The principal of UAI wants to see me. The blonde said as he looked at the sealed envelope. Right, his X-ray vision, Aizawa thought. So you really are the real deal, the boy said as he smiled and rubbed the back of his head. I've been waiting to hear from you guys for so long. And you coming here in person sounded a little too good to be true. Yours is a unique case, Aizawa said as the boy frowned. The principal wanted to see you in person so he could make his decision. If you're willing, we can go right now. Aizawa gestured to the black car parked by the street. The drive later, they were at UAI. And in that drive Aizawa studied Naruto. The boy was perfectly calm, not even a twitch. Normally people his age would be nervous in this situation. Either he had nerves of steel or he didn't care. Once they reached UAI, Aizawa took the boy to the principal's office. Naruto was staring in awe at the school, and it gave Aizawa hope that Naruto wasn't a complete psychopath. "Just go through there," Aizawa said as Naruto nodded. "Excuse me, what?" Naruto couldn't help but ask as he looked at the bear-mouse-dog hybrid with wide eyes. "You just don't seem like the UAI type is all," the principal said with a shrug. "While it is true you put up quite an impressive performance, we feel that's all it was. A performance, and deep down inside we don't think you have what it takes yet. Maybe next year." After all he had done to make sure he would get in. "So what you're saying I'm a fake? That me fighting Endeavor and Mirko was just a performance?" The principal just shrugged. "It's what we think is best, after all the best heroes in Japan evaluated your results. Aizawa will lead you out." As soon as the principal said that, the door opened and Eraserhead stepped in. "Come on kid," Aizawa said as Naruto slowly walked out of the office. "Maybe next time," Naruto heard Mary say. Even though she said it, Naruto didn't want to believe it. Naruto had gone an entire year just to perfect his quirk. The hard work that went into the grueling year was all for nothing. The sting of doubt he felt in his gut hurt. All his training wasn't. "Hey, how about I show you the training grounds? The least we can do after rejecting you," Aizawa said, making Naruto inwardly sigh. "Think it just makes it worse," Naruto remarked. "Maybe you can take out all that anger you're feeling inside on the highly expensive training equipment," Aizawa said as Naruto thought about it. It seemed like a good idea. Plus it would give him a chance to let loose. Because honestly right now, Naruto felt robbed. Like something that was clearly in his grasp was suddenly taken away. "Lead the way." Soon the two made it the giant training facility. It was like a quirk dorm but more futuristic. Everything looked high-tech and expensive. Though it looked like a giant urban city complete with empty buildings and cars. "This place is usually where All Might and Endeavor used to spar. It can take quite the beating," Aizawa said as Naruto looked around in awe. "Wow, hello there." Naruto and Aizawa turned to see another blonde teen walking towards them. Behind him was a green-haired man with glasses and a gray suit. "Are you here to train?" "Sir Night-Eye, I didn't think you of all people would be here," Aizawa said as the man approached and they shook hands. "One of my students needed to stretch a bit," Sir Night-Eye said as he pulled up his glasses. "Hey there, I'm Mirio Tagata, nice to meet you." Mirio had a large smile on his face as he held out his hand to fellow blonde quickly shook it. "Oh, strong grip you have there." "Likewise," Naruto replied. "Since you're here why not help out Mirio, he's in desperate need of a sparring partner," Sir Night-Eye said as he turned to Aizawa. "That is, if it's fine with you." "I don't think Naruto here has anywhere important to be." Aizawa turned to the blonde. "Unless you do." Naruto seemed to think about it before nodding his head. "I could go for a spar," he said with a nod. "Okay then, but if things get intense we will step in. You two are free to go all out, after all the two strongest heroes in Japan used to spar here. The place can take a beating," Aizawa said as the two blonde teens took a few steps back. He glanced at both of them, making sure they were ready. Mirio seemed to be excited as stretched a bit while Naruto seemed stone-faced. Aizawa knew what these two teens were capable of, he'd seen both of them in action. Both of them were powerhouses in their own right. "Alright, begin," he yelled, and as soon as he did that both teens vanished in a blur of speed. The resounding shockwave above him was the only indication that they clashed. "Great, can't even see the damn fight." Mirio was excited. While his spars with his friends were helpful he couldn't really go all out. He couldn't really use one for all at its fullest. But now. As his fist connected against the side of Naruto's face. Mirio couldn't help but smile at the fact that his fellow blonde didn't even flinch. That was 10% of his power. Mirio was suddenly grabbed by the arm and thrown into a nearby building. As his body burst through the concrete and steel the blonde could only smile. Finally, he could push himself beyond. But before he could do all that, Naruto had appeared in a burst of speed in front of him. A punch aimed right at Mirio's face. The blonde instantly turned his permeation quirk and held his breath. Naruto's fist passed through his head completely before Mirio countered with an uppercut to Naruto's chin that sent the blonde flying upwards. When Mirio was given one for all and named All Might's successor. He had not only trained with this unbelievable power, but had also trained his own quirk as well. Making sure he was able to use the two quirks together at the same time. Mirio quickly took off after Naruto, while the blonde was still in midair, Mirio quickly grabbed him by the neck, only for Naruto's eyes to glow red and two lasers to slam right into his torso. Mirio was sent flying into a nearby building again. As he picked himself up, he looked up at Naruto just as the blonde looked down at him. At this point, the fight wasn't really a fight. It was like how in video game tournaments the players are told to first try out the buttons to get a feel for them. Both of them had been holding back from what Sir Night Eye had told him. Naruto was just as strong as he was and with a variety of sub-quirks. Now the real show begun. One for all pumped into his body as Mirio flew at Naruto, leaving a sonic boom behind him as he went in for a punch. To his surprise and excitement, Naruto had caught it. The force of his fist hitting Naruto's palm sent a shockwave that destroyed the windows of the nearby buildings. This guy. That was 40% and it took it all. Pause. Suddenly, Naruto's fist lashed out and punched him in the face so fast he couldn't phase through it in time. The hit was strong and would have sent Mirio flying, was it not for the firm grip Naruto had on his hand. It was so hard it actually hurt. Pause. Disoriented, Mirio could do nothing but take the next couple of blows. Naruto's arm was like a jackhammer as he punched at Mirio's face. Shockwave after shockwave shook the entire place as Mirio was continuously punched in the face. Grunting, Mirio poured 70% into his arm and threw a hook right at Naruto's temple. The blow sent the other blonde flying into another building. Before Mirio could capitalize, Naruto stopped mid-flight. Then his eyes glowed red before he fired off his heat vision. Mirio quickly punched behind himself, the force of the punch sending him rocketing away from the lasers. Naruto didn't let up on his lasers and simply turned his head in the direction Mirio was heading. Mirio bounced off a nearby building just as Naruto's lasers obliterated said building a few seconds later. With one for all at 70%, Mirio was a blur as he blitzed around. Naruto, seeing his lasers were useless, decided to chase after Mirio. Now this was Mirio's plan all along, Naruto was stronger than him, that much was a fact. While Mirio was going all out, Naruto was deliberately holding back. But surely Mirio was faster, right? Right. As Mirio zoomed through the city, Naruto was right behind him. Now Mirio hadn't completely mastered one for all and could only use it up to 80%. And when he pushed himself to 75% and began moving faster, Naruto was still behind him, his face a calm mask like they weren't moving faster than sound at this point. Everything they moved past was blown away, cars were sent flying and windows on buildings were shattered. Deciding that running wasn't an option, Mirio made a beeline for a large building before activating his quirk and phasing through it. And as he reached the other end, Mirio turned around and turned on 80%. Naruto was younger, Mirio was the experienced of the two. After all, he trained with all might. A few seconds later Naruto had burst through the building. Eyes glowing red. Mirio took his chance and sped forward, with all his might he punched at Naruto. As expected, the blonde brought his arms and blocked the punch aimed for his head. The force of the punch sent Naruto back and slammed him into the building. Mirio went for a punch to Naruto's unguarded stomach. The blow landed, a shockwave blew away what was left of the crumbling building above them. The hit seemed to stun Naruto, and Mirio quickly capitalized with a right hook to the side of the blonde's face. Mirio then uppercutted the blonde so hard he would have sent him flying had Mirio not grabbed his leg and slammed him on the ground. There was a loud crack as Naruto's back hit the ground, said ground cracked and formed a crater. Even as an entire building fell on them, Mirio didn't care. He wanted to beat Naruto. Tightening the grip he had on Naruto's leg, he lifted him off the ground. Mirio then began spinning, turning into a human Beyblade tornado. Making sure Naruto was disoriented, Mirio then took to the skies. Bursting out the top of the concrete building like it was paper, Mirio tossed a disoriented Naruto into the air, then grabbed him by the back of the head and pressed him against the building as they began to fall. Mirio made sure to put all of his strength into grinding Naruto's face into the building as he fell, cutting the large structure down the middle. Before they could hit the ground, Mirio grabbed Naruto and threw him face first at the ground. Mirio then sped away just as the crumbling building fell right on top of Naruto. Surely dropping an entire building was enough to end the fight, right? Right. Great, I can barely see what's happening. Aizawa grumbled, he and Sir Night Eye had quickly gone over to the control room where a camera feed of the fight was being shown. The next generation truly are something else, Nezu said with a hum. Don't you think so, Endeavor? The number 2 hero didn't answer, eyes focused on the high speed and destructive fight. He was one of the 3 people in the room that could actually see what was happening. All the more reason to enroll him in UAI I say. All Might said. The blonde number 1 then turned to the number 2 hero. Don't you think so, my friend? Endeavor just stared ahead with a frown on his face. He had hoped that Shoto would breeze through on his way to being number 1, but… Oh man, looks like the fight is over, Mirko said as she grinned. Looks like Mr. Superior is out for the count. That's not right, he used some kind of red power against Endeavor during the entrance exam, Sir Night Eye pointed out. Oh yeah? Mirko said as she looked thoughtful. Now that I think about it, he used it to beat me as well. I wonder why he hasn't used it? Nezu asked, and the answer came in the form of the building Naruto was buried under beginning to rumble. Oh, it seems something interesting is about to happen. Man, it's not fair, they kick you out of their precious school, but they let this guy in. He's basically a bootleg version of you. Are you gonna take that? Just let them do this to you? They hate you cause you don't make mistakes, you're not like the rest of them, you're stronger, smarter, better. You're better. Now Naruto knew better than to listen to Homelander, the man was unreliable and wrong most of the time. But then again, a broken clock was right twice a day. Homelander had been whispering at the back of his head for a while now and he tried to ignore it. He really did, but when it's 12 and the clock says 12 you listen. Even if that cloak was broken. It really wasn't fair. Hour of the ancestors, Naruto whispered from beneath the rubble and broken building. Honestly, he had nothing to lose from doing this. Plus he always wondered what Homelander could bring to the table. Mirio stared wide-eyed as two beams of pure red energy burst out of the large rubble. The beams destroyed a large portion of the rubble, kicking up dust. Mirio looked up as a figure floated out of the dust. You know, I never get to let loose like this. The dust cleared and it revealed Naruto, said Blonde had a smug smirk on his face. For the past few days I've been letting self-doubt cloud my mind. I don't need that kind of energy in my life, I've decided. UAI isn't good enough for me. They need me more than I need them. What? Mirio couldn't help but ask. Naruto didn't seem to care about his confusion as the blonde blew frost on his hand, forming a chunk of ice. He then fired his heat vision, melting it into water. Naruto then used it to slick his hair back. Now, let's show the people of UAI what they are missing out on. Naruto said before vanishing from his spot and appearing in front of Mirio. Mirio barely dodged the punch aimed at his head. The fist grazing the side of his cheek. This was insane. Naruto just got faster, by a large margin. Focus, Naruto said before moving his hand forward and grabbing Mirio by the face. Mirio quickly phased out of the grip before going for a punch to Naruto's face. The hit connected but it was tanked. Naruto just looked at him with a smug smile. In a microsecond Mirio was punched in the gut so hard his feet were lifted off the ground. I see, that little ghost trick doesn't work if I hit you fast enough. Mirio quickly phased out the fist buried in his gut and quickly jumped back. He needed to. Where are you going? Naruto appeared in front of Mirio in an instant. Mirio blinked and ate a right hook to the face that sent him flying into one of the few remaining buildings. As he crashed into the building, Mirio quickly began thinking of phasing into the ground. He needed a plan. I see you. Naruto's heat vision burst through the walls and slammed into Mirio's chest. The force of the lasers sent him slamming back first into a wall. The heat burning off the top part of his special shirt. Made out of his hair. You dropped a building on me, at that point, Naruto was just teleporting. That speed was just insane. The blonde was calmly standing a few inches away from Mirio. Mirio pumped 100% into his body. His hand shot forward at blinding speeds as his hand went for Naruto's eyes. His opponent didn't even blink as Mirio's hand phased through his head. Instead the blonde fired his heat vision. Mirio had to use his quirk on his entire body. The lasers passing harmlessly through him. Mirio quickly sped away and Naruto followed, both teens leaving behind sonic booms that destroyed the building they were once in. Mirio was using both of his quirks at full capacity. Speeding and phasing through buildings while Naruto followed behind. To Naruto, every building he smashed through was like wet tissue. The blonde simply passed through them, destroying them to get to Mirio. Mirio couldn't hold his breath for too long, plus using 100% was taking its toll on his body. Naruto was right there next to him, no matter where he went Naruto was right next to him, waiting for permeation to deactivate. Mirio quickly turned, speeding into a building with Naruto following by bursting through them. Mirio quickly deactivated permeation in his arms before turning and punching at Naruto. The blonde reacted in time by catching his punch and using his grip to throw Mirio away. Mirio deactivated his quirk as he flew in the air. Turning, the blonde cocked his fist back as he spotted the form of Naruto flying towards him. No more running. Detroit Mirio pumped power into his right fist just as Naruto came into range. Smash. Naruto brought up his arms in an X, blocking the punch, but the force blew his shirt away. Gale force winds from the force of Mirio's punch forced Naruto to close his eyes. Mirio quickly vanished and appeared behind Naruto. The blonde wrapped his arms around Naruto's waist before delivering a one-for-all powered suplex. With them having been in the sky, Mirio used everything he had, turning into a bullet that fired at the ground faster than the speed of sound. The two slammed into the ground so hard the entire fake city's ground was completely destroyed. Half-buildings were sent tumbling as the ground beneath them was no more and the shockwave that resulted from the suplex crushed against them. It was like a nuke had gone off. This has gone on long enough. All Might yelled as the feed cut out. Everything in the training zone was completely destroyed. The blonde hero quickly took off with a burst of speed. Hey, wait for me. Mirko yells before quickly following. Excuse me everyone, Sir Night Eye quickly followed. They might need your assistance, Aizawa, Nezu said as the black-haired man nodded before he followed after Night-Eye. Aren't you going? No, Endeavor grumbled before walking out of the room. If Shoto thought his life was hell, he got another thing coming. To think that even someone as powerful as him, we had doubts about letting him into UAI. Nezu said as Endeavor left the room. It's not always about power, you know. Naruto coughed and swiped the dust away from his face. Mirio was on the ground a few feet away, the blonde's body looked beaten. Mirio was officially out cold, the attack having knocked him out. Naruto would have laughed had he still been channeling his inner Homelander. The blonde quickly ruffled his hair back to normal. Speaking of Homelander, Naruto couldn't help but be surprised. Feeling Homelander's power, he couldn't help but wonder how the guy got bullied around. Homelander was more powerful than some of the people in his head. Using Homelander's power, Naruto's power was boosted 100 times over. Homelander didn't have any flashy moves or total invincibility, but the man was strong. Of course he's strong, he's even stronger than Mary, Icarus and Thrag. But they can easily beat him in a fight because they are highly trained and skilled warriors. The only reason you use Homelander's abilities better than he does is because you can fight. From whatever world Homelander comes from, he was the strongest. So strong he was never challenged and so he didn't bother trying. Zod said as Naruto hummed. So what you're saying is that he's too lazy to use his powers to their fullest. Naruto said, getting a mental nod from Zod. Where is he anyway? I thought he'd be bragging about. He got so annoying everyone ganged up on him. They are currently beating him to a bloody pulp. Of course they are, Naruto muttered just as he spotted All Might. I am here. The man was before him in an instant, behind him the dust storm he had kicked up on his run here finally caught up. Naruto simply closed his eyes and used his X-ray vision. Though the dust wouldn't do anything if it got in his eyes, it was still uncomfortable. Hey, you almost blinded me. Mirko the rabbit hero appeared a second later. Her own dust storm followed after. Ha, I honestly thought you lost Blondie, guess I was wrong. Yes, I too am quite impressed. You and young Mirio here showed great skill and power. All Might said as Naruto opened his eyes and smiled at the praise. Honestly, Mirio would have beaten me if he had full control of his strength. Naruto said as he turned and looked at the downed form of the blonde. I could tell his quirk was hurting his body. Honestly, the fight would have escalated. Naruto was matching Mirio's power, he didn't want the blonde hurt after all. But if Mirio had been able to increase his strength, the destruction would have been biblical. Damn, you guys did a number on this place, Mirko said as she looked around in awe. What was once an urban city was reduced to rubble, now buildings stood above any of them, everything was but dust and dirt. And to think, both of you weren't going all out. Hey, you think you can go another round with me? Yeah, no, last time I beat you because of my trump card which I already used and have to wait a whole day to recharge. Naruto said with a wave. Maybe next time. Speaking of trump cards, what was that exactly? All Might asked, his face no longer having his iconic smile but a serious frown. Yeah, it was kinda like looking at another person entirely. Mirko said as Naruto winced. It seemed both of them noticed. Power of the ancestors didn't just give him his ancestors' powers, but some of their personality. Not that it completely took over Naruto, but just enough that it was slightly noticeable. Sometimes it was good, like when he used Alexandria's power, he didn't just get her total invincibility, but her tactical mind as well. Every move was perfectly calculated and none was wasted. But with people like Hell and Homelander. The world was an anthill, and he was a kid with magnifying glass and a squirt gun. The arrogance that came with all that power was sometimes maddening. That's why he made an effort to end fights quickly when he used someone that arrogant. I'm sure you guys would love to know, but it is a secret, Naruto said as he rubbed the back of his neck. I can't just go around telling people my secret, you know. People? We're pro-heroes. We understand, All Might firmly stated. His voice cuts off Mirko and leaves no room for augment. The even injured All Might was still a force of nature. Yes, Naruto had caught a glimpse, All Might's body was rotten on the inside. Destroyed, and his blood smelled off. His X-ray vision told him all he needed to know. The number one hero was not long for this world. And yet it was a warning to Naruto, All Might's injuries had to come from somewhere. Someone did that to him. Strong as he was, Naruto wasn't ready to take on the hero world just yet. There were scary things out there. Perhaps you could tell your teachers then. Eraserhead called out as he and Sir Night-Eye rolled in on a golf car of all things. Naruto stiffened. I would, he said. I look forward to you telling me then, the black-haired man said as he stepped out of the vehicle. You were not accepted into UAI because of me. I had questions that have been answered. I am satisfied and I apologize. I'm sorry for making you doubt yourself. Aizawa then bowed. I don't understand, Naruto said with wide eyes. It's not always about power and how amazing a quirk is, Eraserhead said. Most people forget that. I wanted to see if behind that amazing quirk of yours was an equally amazing character. And Hirai was going to fly off to America, Naruto said with a chuckle. So I'm in. Yes, you are without a doubt a student at UAI, as always said Naruto smiled. Now, go to the principal's office and pick your acceptance letter. Thank you. Naruto said excitedly as he bowed. Sting of doubt at the pit of his gut was now gone, replaced with butterflies. He then turned to the snoring Mirio, who All Might had picked up and was now carrying. Tell him thank you for me. Race you to Nezu's office. Mirko said before she broke into a run, a blur that had already crossed an unbelievable distance. Well, that's not fair, is it? Naruto said before following after, leaving the ground underneath him cracked even more. Kids these days, breaking the sound barrier in their sneakers. Sir Knight, I said, his face twitching as he pulled up his glasses. Why do you look pissed off? Because I am. What if Naruto x Rumi Usagiyama and My Hero Academia end here, and thanks for watching my video till the end.